This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to everybody, and especially to the two schools joining us this afternoon, Central and Rosehill Elementary. Welcome to Djuma in the Sabi Sands, South Africa. My name is Steve Falconbridge and I'm joined by Sebastian on the camera, who's walking towards me right now. And behind me, we have got some zebra. Now, please ask your teacher to send through any questions and comments you might have. Let us know what you'd like to talk about, what you'd like to see, and see if we can facilitate that for you. It is a nice, warm day, or relatively warm, 31 degrees Celsius, 85 degrees Fahrenheit. There's not a cloud in the sky. We're approaching winter, so it is a warm day for this time of year, but a marvellous day to be out on foot in the African wilderness. And we are indeed out in the savanna biome, surrounded by trees and grasses and big furry animals with stripes. The zebra, commonly also known as the painted horse. But I'm not alone out on safari this afternoon. I also have another two colleagues with me, and we're going to go over to another friend of mine, Brent Leo Smith, who's driving.
Hello, and a big welcome to Central and Rosehill Elementary Schools. I'm so excited for your first live safari. Aren't you excited? It's great to have you on the back. And guess what I'm looking for today? Lions. My name is Brent, and my good friend Senzo is on camera, and we're going to hopefully find you the biggest cat in Africa. So I want all your questions for me to be about lions. So we're going to hopefully see them. They were just over here this morning. And it's been quite hot today, so they probably haven't moved too far. So hopefully we'll be seeing... Oh, I must stop saying hopefully. I've said hopefully about 5 times. I'll stop that now. But we should see some lions in the next couple of minutes, unless they've been chased by elephants. So if the lions have gone and we can't find them, I saw lots of tracks. So tracks of footprints, and that's often how we find the animals, of elephants moving through that area down there. So we're going to find you something, that's for sure. And if you don't send me questions, I'll start quizzing you. So you don't want a pop quiz today, so I want to hear your questions as quickly as possible. Okay, so the lions were somewhere around here. So it's really hot. Oh, there's something that doesn't like lions. It's a tiny little antelope called a steenbok. And that is not a baby, that is an adult. They're just very, very small. That's a little male. And, oh, he's disappeared to hide. He was having a little bit of late afternoon lunch. Okay. Now, I'm hoping that the lions should be close by. Now, that's a bit small for a pride of lions to try hunt, and especially a pride of this size. They're 11. Oh, look at him. He's peering at us through the grass. It's not often we get to see them this nicely. Normally, they run away. Hey, little man. So it is one of the few monogamous antelopes. And having a lovely little snack. Okay, so guys, I'm going to find you some lions. While I find you some lions, let's go meet Taylor McCurdy.
Hello to Central Elementary and Rosehill Elementary. Welcome, welcome to the Sunset Safari. Those were Egyptian geese. I'm not an Egyptian goose. I'm Taylor, and on camera with me today is David. Hello. And I look forward to answering all your questions. Now, we're on a safari. You've already met Brent, of course, and you've seen Steve, who showed you some cool animals. Hopefully, Brent's going to find you some lions. Now, we're going to find lots of different things. And birds, the Impala are back. That's exciting. That's actually what I wanted to show you, but they were very cheeky, these Impala, and they ran away from us. So, this is a type of an antelope, and there are lots and lots of them at the moment. You're going to be seeing them running around and chasing other Impala, because it's, well, getting to the season where the boys are fighting with one another. Maybe we'll even see an Impala fight today, which is quite cool. And they use their big horns. You can see they'll lock horns and they'll push and shove one another. It's kind of like an arm wrestling match, but for Impala, and they use their heads. So a little bit different, but the same also. Now, these two boys, I think, are wanting to compete for this area that we're in at the moment. It's a very nice area. They've got lots of green grass. They've got some trees and things to hide away if it gets too windy or if it starts to rain. And then they've got the little watering hole, which you saw where the Egyptian geese were. So it is perfect. This is a very, very popular spot. It's like having a house on the beach. All your friends want to go to the house on the beach, I'm sure, or to the farm. Very cool. But now we're going to carry on because we're going to see what other wonderful animals are going to be around the corner. This is just the beginning. Wait till you see where we're going. We're going to a really big dam where there's hippos, and we saw a crocodile there this morning, a huge crocodile. He was out of the water. And then what else did we see? Maybe we're going to see some elephants, which is my favorite animal. That would be a bonus if we could see the elephants. I'd be very excited to show you them. And lots of birds. So I hope you like birds because we're going to be seeing lots of them today. Now, Steve is obviously on walk. His eyes are much closer to the ground than mine are from all the way up in the car, and it seems he's got something small to show you.
Yes, we do. We almost walked right past it, this beautifully camouflaged grasshopper. And as the name grasshopper implies, they are vegetarian, and they jump around in the grass and they feed on grass. And we've had some very late rains this year, and so everything's looking very, very green, and there are lots of insects around like this grasshopper feeding on the grass and providing a very important food for many, many bird species. I reckon we could even eat this as a protein source, but I'm not going to do that today. Beautiful creature. Can I maybe turn him for you, Seb?
Yeah.
Turn him, give you his head, have a look at his face. Look at that guy. I don't know what species this is, but look how camouflaged he is. If I put this back on the grass, you will not see it. He looks just like the ground, and that is how he avoids being eaten by birds. Sorry about my shadow.
You can put him a bit in the sun.
That's how he avoids being eaten by birds, is to blend in with the background, and so he can move very, very slowly. But there are a number of bird species that actually follow big animals, like the zebra we saw just now, and other big animals as well, because when they walk through the long grass, they chase these insects, and the insects jump and move, and then it allows the birds to fly in and catch them, because they can then see them. But just like what people do in some countries, they chase the grass, and then the grass jump out of the grass, and then they get shot. So, beautiful, beautiful creature. Well, we're going to move on with our grasshopper and just go over to Taylor, who's found herself an animal.
Not just one, we've got three of a kind. We've got warthogs running away. Come back here. All the children of America want to see you. Here they are. So they're really funny animals to watch. And I've seen these three warthogs almost every single day. Would you believe me? Now you're probably thinking, Taylor, you can't possibly know these warthogs. But they are the lodge warthogs. They're quite relaxed normally. It's getting a bit windy now, so they might get a bit nervous, because when the wind blows, they can't hear very well, and they can't smell the scents very well either. And warthogs have got very, very, very good sense of smell. And they need their ears, their eyes, and their noses to help keep themselves alive out here, because there's lots of things that want to eat a tasty warthog. And it's two females, so that's one of the girls, and one of their little ones. And only one little one had survived, which is very sad, because they both would have had a whole lot. Oh, you've got a muddy bottom. Have you been sitting in the mud? Looks like she has. Off she goes, running away. Maybe we'll catch them around the corner. Not literally, but we'll just be able to get a look at them. Oh, I can't believe it. Brent has done it again. It seems as though he's found an animal that would want to eat these warthogs.
Definitely would want to eat the warthogs, but if you look at them now, they are flat cats. Now, if you like napping, then you want to be a lion, because lions are the best at napping. They can nap for about 20 hours a day. This is a big pride of lions for the area. There's should be 11. So you can see there's one there. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can only see 10 lions. A very good. Oh, here we go. Let's go. That's about. We're going to have a little rollover. Oh, change positions, get more comfy. Now, Rose Hill Elementary would like to know, why are lions scared of elephants? Well, lions are not the true kings of the African bush. It is definitely the African elephant. A really big male lion will weigh about 450 pounds, where a really big elephant will weigh over 10,000 pounds. So elephants can squish lions, so lions tend to try avoid elephants. Now, elephants will chase away lions. Lions will sometimes try hunt baby elephants, but that's very rare. Now, can you believe, you can see this is the young male close. Oops, sorry, the one close. Oh, the little feet. The one closest to us is a little boy. Is it the little boy? It is the little male, and he is probably only about 3 feet from the side of our car. Now, while we're in the car, we are safe from the lions. They're not going to try eat us. The car smells of gas and oil and all that type of stuff. But if we were walking, we'd have to be a lot more careful. But in the car, the lions don't see the car as food. They don't know that there are people in it. They don't have an instinctive response to the car. So if Senzo comes out, he'll show you how close. There we go. That's how close the lion is to the car. Isn't that amazing? There we go. And Senzo, don't tickle the lions. Now, Senzo's only joking. It looks like he was tickling the lion, but he's just putting his hand in front of the camera there. But they are looking very lazy at the moment. So, as I said, they sleep for about 20 hours a day. And even when they are moving, they don't move solidly for 4 hours at a time. They'll walk for 20 minutes, sleep for half an hour, walk for an hour, sleep for 4 hours. And these guys covered a big bit of ground last night. They probably did 5 or 6 miles. Now we're going to sit here. Hopefully the lions will be a little bit more active while we're here. In the meantime, it sounds like Steve's got something tiny to show you.
Yes, we do. We found some marvelous termites on the ground. These are the harvester termites, and they are busy harvesting grass. Good afternoon, everybody. There's this game vehicle that's driven past and looking at us very strangely, that we've decided to stop in the middle of the road and have a look at how these termites are gathering all of these grass parts and taking them into their hole. Very, very important for the recycling of nutrients. The cellulose that you find in grass, it's not easily broken down, and the termites take it back into their burrow, where they will digest it and turn it back into sugars and nutrients back into the soil. So it's a very, very important cycle. They are probably the most important organisms here in the savannah that recycle nutrients. You can see they're a little bit dark, their color. They've got that dark sort of brown color to them. That is melanin, which allows them to be protected a little bit from the sun. Most of the other termite species we find, they don't have any of that protection, so they have to live underground all the time. Otherwise they get very badly sunburnt. But these guys are working very, very hard. They don't stop. They're constantly gathering organic material all the time, recycling it back into the system and generating soil underneath. Isn't that marvelous? Now these guys are also a very important food source, not just for people, but also for birds and lots of other animals out here that like to feed on termites. They're very high in protein, and there are billions and billions of them out there, and they are very nutritious. So lots of animals actually feed exclusively on termites, like what we would say the aardvark, or known as the ant bear. They like to dig in the holes in the ground to feed on these guys. Look how strong he is, pulling back that piece of grass and that bark. Very, very powerful. And talking about powerful animals, let's go back over to Brent with his powerful cats.
Okay, guys, so I'm not hearing any questions from you, so I'm going to have to quiz you. So I've got a question for you about lions. I want you to tell me, how many pounds of meat can a lion eat in one go? How many pounds of meat can a lion eat in one go? I think I can eat 1.5 pounds. Senzo, how much meat can you eat in one go? 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds, I think I could do. Senzo nods, he thinks he can eat about the same. So how many pounds of meat do you think one of these lions can eat in one sitting? Very lazy kitties today. Isn't that pretty though? Now, they found a nice spot, but every now and then you'll see their ears or tails flick, and that's because there's some nasty biting flies around. And those flies, actually, there we go, you can see it there, are coming to drink their blood. They're called stable flies. Oh, there's a lioness up. Hello, big girl. Now, lions will often get up and move during the day and change their sleeping positions. You can see she's got a bad injury, but it's healed quite well on her hip, and she is the oldest lioness in this pride, and she was born about 10 years ago. So she is the oldest. And she's sneaking up on you, Sens. Soon we're going to be surrounded by lions. Now, if you look carefully now that she's moved, you can always tell where a pride of lions has been sleeping as opposed to other animals, because they lie very close together and they flatten the grass. Oh, my comms come out. Sorry. Something wants... Quick link. Quickly across to my friend Taylor.
Oh, I'm so sorry. There was the most beautiful bird here. But we've got this one, which is also very pretty. The one that I really wanted to show you was a black-collared barbet. I'll show you a picture of it in a little bit. This, however, is not a black-collared barbet. This is a go-away bird. Yeah, you heard me right. I said a go-away bird. And that's because when it calls, it goes, go away! Go away! See? It might actually fly here and land on the car because I sound exactly like it. But it is sitting in a tree that's got lots and lots of berries on it. You can see all the berries around it. And it's one of my favorite fruits to eat too. Except I'm too big to be climbing around on those small branches. So I'll leave those ones for the birds. And the tree that it is in is called a guarri tree, and it's delicious. David also likes to eat the fruit. Every time he walks past or we drive past, he leans right out of the car and grabs a handful. But watch how this bird scratches its head, and then hopefully it's going to show us how it eats some of the berries. Maybe not, though. Maybe it's full. Maybe it's already had lunch. Maybe the buffet opened hours ago and has been nibbling away. But this bird loves to eat fruit. It's very pretty. Not as pretty as some of its cousins, though. Some of its cousins have got lovely, lovely feathers. Right, Brent, of course, has got those wonderful cats. I'm sure they're fast asleep on a hot day like today.
They are definitely still fast asleep. And you can see them there. Now, I was saying you can always tell where a pride of lions has been sleeping. So let's have a look down towards the end there, Sens, past the last lion. You see how flat the grass is. And as the sun comes through and changes during the day, the lions will move as they get hot, as the shade moves with the sun. There we go. What's she doing? She's just hooked the tree. She's almost hugging the tree. Not really, though. It just happens to be there when she put her paw up. Lucas, I'm not going to give everyone the answer just yet, but Lucas, if I can eat 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds, Lucas says a lion can eat 3 pounds. Lucas said it can eat a lot more than 3 pounds. Ava, it can eat even more than 20 pounds of meat in a single sitting. Eric, it can eat even more than 40 pounds of meat in a single sitting. Jacob, you are the closest. A big male lion can eat up to 90 pounds of meat in a single sitting. Isn't that incredible? Imagine trying to eat 90 pounds in one go. I would be fat if I had to do that. Now, on average, though, because they don't eat every day like other animals, so if you work out, on average, all the animals they eat over a year, they eat between 10 and 25 pounds of meat a day. Now, they can eat in one go up to 90 pounds if it's a big male, but lions will eat, catch something today and they'll eat it, and then they won't eat again for maybe 3 days, 4 days if they're very full, or sometimes they'll eat on something big like a buffalo for 2 days. So it is amazing. So they're used to having feast and famine. They're not lucky enough to get food every day like we are, because they've got to go out and catch it. There's no supermarkets out here in the African bush. Good question, Jackson. Jackson says, if lions eat so much, how are they so skinny? Well, these lions, I would say, haven't eaten anything big in a couple of days. And they also have a very fast metabolism when it comes to breaking down their food. So even if they eat something that's, or if they eat 90 pounds of meat in a sitting, all that meat will be digested within 2 days. So they digest very, very quickly. Now, Colt, it depends on the lion. Let's have a look at my hand here, Sands. So, I've got quite big hands for a human. So, let me try to find something that is comparable in size that you might recognize. My binoculars. So, there's my binoculars. So, you can see how big my hands are. So, they're quite big hands. Now, a big male lion's track will sit like this over the base of my hand, and its toes just going over there. So, and a lioness's track will fit inside my hand. But we'll have a closer look at the paw. There we go. Now, Mason was asking what would attack a lion. We've said elephants would attack them, sometimes rhino, sometimes buffalo, hippo, and sometimes, if there's enough, hyenas will also attack lions. Okay, I'm going to wait a little bit longer with these sleepy kitties. While we do that, let's go see what Taylor's found next.
Grass. We found some grass and trees, but that's not what I'm looking for today. I'm looking for leopards, and I had some leopard tracks around this area this morning, and I know that it is the favorite spot of either two leopards that live around here. And I'm going to check up in the trees because it's been a very hot day. Maybe somebody's been sleeping up in them. I'm also going to be checking along this little bank here because these sneaky cats like to sit and hide away from the sun and in the shade. You can see there's some great spots in there for a leopard. I'd definitely be in there. And where else are we going to be looking? In the long grass under a tree. Oh, you know what I've seen is a squirrel. I'm going to start. There's lots of squirrels. It's just disappeared. David, I don't know if you saw, where those two trees meet, at the base, there was one running around, but I can't see it now. But maybe it's going to poke its head up. Let's see. It was just running along the log there. No, it's gone now. Okay, let me go forward. Maybe we can find it again. Go away, fly. There's a fly sitting on my face. I don't know where that fly's been. Okay, let me check. Got my squirrel eyes on. See if I can find it again. I'll give it a little bit of room so it doesn't get scared. Maybe it just went down onto the ground to try and find some nuts. Little squirrel, come out. There it is. Just to the right on the edge of that termite mound. It's in the grass. There we go, you got it. Sent for him. There it runs. There's this little squirrel. It's just disappearing, but you can just see its head popping up every minute. You got it there, Davy. You can see her. Just checking because the sun is not so nice today where we are. Now, I can't believe it hasn't run away from us yet. Normally when they see us, they run away completely. You can just see the grass moving a little bit. Now, I think that it is searching for nuts, maybe some that it had hidden away, because we are going to come into winter soon. Now, the squirrels don't hibernate here. It doesn't get cold enough. But the fruit, nuts and seeds and things start to disappear. So they store their food. And they'll dig little holes in the ground and bury them, or sometimes they'll just use a natural hole in the tree and then stuff a whole lot in there. Look, their noses on the ground. Sniff, 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 sniff. Is that where I left them? No. Maybe it was another spot. Was it over there? I can't remember. Maybe. Working very, very hard. Very, very sweet, this little squirrel. Now, I can't really hear what Luke is saying to me. There seems to be some technical gremlins, so I'm going to send you to Steve to see what he's managed to find.
Well, hello, back you come to me, and we have found a different species of termite, different type of termite, if you like. Before we were talking about the harvest termite, and they don't form big mounds. And this one, look at the size of this earth ground that I'm sitting on. This is a proper termite mound, and this is one of those species that grow fungus. They actually grow fungus, which then they use to grow on top of the organic material like this. The fungus breaks this down, and then the termites are able to eat what's left over. So the purpose of this big mound is to control the temperature, the moisture, and the termites make this mound by using their excrement, so their poo, saliva and soil, which they bring up from the bottom, and then they use it to build these really big blocks. And this takes years and years and years and years to produce, and something this size, probably 100 years, even more, to get to this sort of size. So millions and millions and millions of termites living in underground underneath this mound, and lots of animals, like I said, that like to live in and around and feed on the termites. I'm going to climb down and see if there's a little hole over here, Seb. I'm going to have a look at that hole there. Hopefully I don't fall. I'm very high. We get these holes in the ground here that aardvarks or ant bears like to dig into, looking for the termites. And I'm not going too close because you can find all sorts of things, like those warthogs that Taylor had. They can live in there. Honey badgers and porcupines, all sorts of other weird and wonderful creatures will live inside the termite mound. Be careful, Seb, nothing comes charging out at you. Very, very interesting. And the soil here, where the termites have broken down the food, all of these grasses here are very, very tasty, very sweet, because the nutrients around here are much nicer than the nutrients just a few meters away, because that's what the termites do. They take the nutrients in the grass, like this here, looks very tough and very sort of rubbery grass. They break that down, and then that slowly turns back into compost in the soil. So those of you who've done any gardening back home will know how important organic material is in the garden, and the termites break that down. Very, very good, very well. We can continue on from our enormous mound. So we are not sleeping, we are walking. We're going to go over to Brent, who is with something that's sleeping, still with his lions.
Oh, sorry. I was doing what the lions are doing. I was having a nap because the lions were making me feel tired. Of course, I'm only joking. But I don't think these lions are going to get up to much over the next little while. So I'm going to give you the choice. Do you want me to go see if I can find some other animals, or do you want me to stay with the lions for a bit longer? Or we're going to have a roll over from the female next to us. Well, almost. There we go. Full rollover. Now, Hasina, lions sleep for 20 hours a day because they have a problem dealing with heat. So if they had to move around when it's hot, they would overheat and they would die. So they wait till it gets cool before they start moving. So they normally only move around late in the evening and into the hours of darkness. And that's their favorite time to hunt as well. Now, they've evolved to do this so they don't compete with the other dominant predator out in the African bush. And the other dominant predator out here is human beings. So we are the dominant daytime predator. Oh, a little hug. And the lions are the dominant nocturnal predator. So by them sleeping during the heat of the day when we're up and awake and moving around, it means they don't have to compete with us. And when we go to bed, the nighttime belongs to them. Now, they might get moving, but I don't think so. There's no food around for them, but I'd say probably in about 2 or 3 hours, when the temperature drops quite a bit, is when they might start moving. Okay, guys, well, it seems like you want to go see other animals. I'm going to go see if we can find some elephants. So I'm going to go look for some elephants. Hopefully we'll find you some elephants before the end of your very own safari. I'm going to have one last look at the lazy lions. Okay, so bye-bye lions. I'm going to go look for elephants. In the meantime, let's go see where Taylor is.
Brent, I'm also looking for elephants, but I haven't found any yet. Hopefully, between you and I, we'll be able to get some. We are on our way to the airstrip. David and I are going to be flying to America right now to come and see you all. Are you ready for us to arrive? There better be a red carpet. No, I'm just joking. We're not coming to America. But we are going to the airstrip, though. And on the airstrip, there might be an aeroplane. We'll see. We'll see now. There was one here this morning. It might be gone, though. Yep, it's gone. There's a big aeroplane being watched, but I can't show you that. Because there's many shirtless people here. Right, off we go. Make sure there's no aeroplanes landing. Got to make sure, not when you just walk left and right across the street. You got to also check the airstrip. Hello. Let's keep driving. That's the owner. He's got a very nice aeroplane. And so there's an animal. It's another Impala. We'll go say hello to the Impala again. Normally there's lots and lots of animals. We might see some more of those warthogs that we saw earlier. They like it around here too. Otherwise we're going to go back to the dam. But I was just checking for a sneaky leopard. Now, I believe there is a question from Rose Hill Elementary, and it's, why are the antlers on this impala curved? Well, everybody, these aren't actually antlers, these are horns. So this impala has got these horns for the rest of his life. He doesn't shed them, so he doesn't get a new set every single year. He only has one. So remember how we were talking about the impalas fighting now? If he breaks one of those horns, that's it. He'll be one horn shorn for the rest of his life. And it can hurt him, so we don't want him to break a horn. It can actually be more dangerous then, because then it's like he's got a sword on top of his head. See, with two horns, they sort of lock into place. They're not quite as dangerous. But one horn, my goodness, then you can really, really stab the other impala. And a lot of the times they do end up killing one another, because these fights can get serious. So the reason why they are curved like that is just its design. I suppose, why do I have blonde hair or blue eyes? I suppose it's genetics then, hey. But all the impala horns are like this. Not all of them get as long. Some can be a little bit smaller, but it's really interesting to watch when they first start growing. They start off just as little spikes coming out of their head, and then as they get to about a year old, they sort of make a semicircle, but they don't touch. And then as they start to grow, then they start to bend backwards like that. And it's quite cool what an impala can do. Is you think, oh my goodness, how does it go through the bushes? Because impalas don't just eat grass, they also eat leaves. And when an impala lifts its head up and tilts it back towards his back, you can see he can sneak under all the trees very easily and doesn't get his horns caught on anything. Nothing at all. But let's go up. Maybe we can find some younger impala that I can show you. And I like driving here because you can go fast. Drive it like a race car. Where are all the animals today? There's normally so many here. It might be because of the wind. So I'm just quickly scanning to see what else I can find, because when you're on a safari, you got to make sure you go like this. Not with a car. Now I'm making the car turn as I do that. Oh, it's on the ground. I thought it had some lion tracks, but they're not lion tracks. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just find a leopard in a tree now? That would be perfect. But I don't think we're going to be that lucky. Okay, well, my plan failed. We'll have to go to the dam. I think that's where all the animals are, and maybe that's where the elephants will be too. Well, Steve's got something that's not going to be able to run away from him.
How beautiful is this flower? And it is not an elephant. It is a beautiful purple flower, and you see those pink lines going into the flower. That's to attract an insect to land there and then go inside and pollinate. But the reason I stopped to show you this flower is not the flower itself, but the plant. I'm going to grab some of the leaves. Let me just first put that down on the floor. Some of the leaves here, I'm just going to break them off. And a lot of people have seen this done before, but this is quite a marvelous thing out here in the savannah. You take a whole lot of these leaves, and you put them in your hand, and you need a little bit of water. Not that much water. And you squish it all together, and look at this. It's soap. Turns into a wonderful, wonderful, greasy, sticky soap. And you see that? Mm-hmm. Look at all of that stuff there. So really good for washing your hands once you've been messing around in the wilderness. There we go, nice and clean. Now I can throw it away, but now they're very sticky. So a little bit more water, or the back of my pants will do. But that is a marvelous plant that we can use out here for soap. And this is the pod. It is called a large devil thorn. Look at that. That is the pod. These flowers will come out in our summer months or after the rain. It will form that pod, and then it will die. And now what this pod does is, you see those sharp, sharp thorns there. I'm going to show you what it does. I'm going to put it on the floor, and I'm going to stand on it. Then I'm going to walk away. Oopsie, that didn't work. That didn't work. It's not working. But it's supposed to stick into the hoof or the foot of an animal, and then when the animal walks away, it eventually falls off somewhere, and then eventually that seed will grow, and the new plant will grow somewhere else. So a very, very important plant out here, and it is known as a devil thorn. You can see by those little horns there. Very, very sore if you stand on it with no shoes. Okay, so my hands are feeling much cleaner after playing with all the termites. We're continuing on. It'd be wonderful if we could find you some elephants this afternoon, but I think we are running out of time for the school drive. But we are in an area where we hope there might be some elephants coming through. There were some tracks, but they weren't very fresh. We're coming to check some of the pans and mud wallows. We're on the western side now of Djuma, and elephants do occur on this side. Well, they occur all over the place, really, but we're hoping that we're going to get them moving through, because elephants are definitely one of the favorite animals to see out on safari. You've seen the zebra, which is almost everyone's favorite. You've also seen the lions now, even though they are very, very flat cats. And you got to see Pumbaa, the warthog, which is everybody's favorite, I think, especially if you've been watching The Lion King. Hello, Jace. You'd like to know how long elephants live for? Well, they live similarly to us. They can live up to about 60, 65 years of age, and that is a very long time for an animal in the wild. And the thing is that kills them eventually is that their teeth wear down, because they're feeding on branches, leaves, sticks, and bark, and eventually that just wears down the teeth. Eventually, they don't have dentists they can go to like we do, and they eventually starve to death because they can't break down the stuff. They don't have termites that can help to break down the organic material for them, so they have to chew it and chew it and chew it, and after chewing for a very long time, it becomes very difficult to still get any food in. If you do swallow it, it's very hard to break it down because you've basically swallowed it just as it is. But I'm looking ahead here, see if we can find some tracks of some elephants, because there are some, but they're not very fresh, very clear. And I don't want to show you just a mark in the ground. I want to show you a really nice elephant track. They're enormous, enormous feet. Well, we can't show you an elephant. Okay, well, here is elephant dung, but it seems like Brent has been called on the radio. Let's quickly go over to him and see if he finds those elephants.
Well, I'm racing. My friend Aubrey, who drives one of the safari vehicles for the tourists who come here, called me and he said there's some elephants close by. So I'm rushing to try and get you there before the end of your drive. So hold on, guys. Don't fall off the back. Whee! Bump. Hold on, Sens, as well. Can't lose the cameraman. Oh, there they are. We'll just have a quick look from a distance, then I'm going to go around to the other side to get closer to them. So there's an elephant, a whole big herd of elephants. Hopefully there's some little babies as well. Okay, let's get closer to them. Now, I haven't seen elephants in a few days, so I'm very excited to spend some time with elephants. It looks like a really big herd as well. Hold on, there's a bump coming. Oh, bumpity, bumpity. Chase, elephants live very long compared to most animals in the wild. They live to about 65 years old. I'm excited. We're going to get close to some elephants now. Yay. There's big elephants, there's small elephants, there's medium elephants. Elephants everywhere. Hi, guys. Now, one of my favorite animals is elephants. So I'm just going to... Let's give you a good view. Look how close we are as well. Hello, big girl. So there's a big female walking next to us. Hello, big girl. See, she's just putting her trunk towards us. She's giving us a little sniff. Oh, it's okay, big girl. Now, it's very important to stay calm with elephants. As I say, they can be very big, and if they wanted to, they could push my car over. But if you read their behavior correctly and watch them very, very carefully, you can spend amazing time very close to them. Hey, look at her. She's now decided we're not a problem. She's just going to eat some grass. Oh, they are so wonderful. Oh, Senzo, this side. We got a teenager, or maybe just a little bit, probably about the same age as you, 7 or 8, 2-year-old little elephant right next to us here, and then another big girl at the back. Hi guys. So elephants eat both grass and they eat trees and leaves, and Jacob, they can eat up to about 500 or 600 pounds of vegetation in a day. So they're constantly eating day and night. Hey you. Hello little nonsense. We can't break that one off. There we go, well done. And at the moment they're eating, this one's eating little monkey oranges. That's the name of the tree. There are no oranges on it. Now, if you look here, you can see how close I am. Hello. Now, we never touch the animals. We always make sure we are very respectful. I would never drive this close to an elephant. I wait for the elephant to come this close to me. Hey. So it's very important that we don't force ourselves into these situations. But you can see, completely relaxed, carrying on munching away. Hello, little girl. Now, it's been so great having you guys on your first school drive, and you have been spoilt with so many animals. But hopefully you'll join us again to see the animals that you missed. And we're going to, for those of you staying with us, we're going to send you back to Taylor.
Right, welcome back. I look forward to answering all of your questions. So send them on through. I'm just watching some vultures, but I don't know if we can see them. It's very high. Now they're going over the top of us. 2 white-backed vultures. I don't know if they're looking for thermals or where they're headed to. There's not too many of them. There they go. Hi, vultures. We thought we'd just do a little check around here very quickly because I didn't drive this road this morning. So we're going to check in this drainage line. Remember, we had those young male leopard tracks from the sunrise safari that didn't materialize into anything. But we know that Hosana, whose tracks I suspect they are, well, he moves around quite a bit. And during the day, so he could be anywhere now. So we just thought we'd just take a little bumble through here and have a little scratch. We might have to go past the airstrip again. Just to see if any of those animals came out. Right, apparently the technical gremlins are getting me, so off we go.
Sorry, Seds was having a sip of water, but I've positioned myself and I'm hoping the elephant herd's going to come through to us. There's a nice small baby in here. And so I've just positioned myself where I think the herd's going to walk quite close to us as they keep moving through the bush. And I've been missing elephants. I haven't seen elephants properly in so long. Hello, little one. And you cannot help but be in a good mood when you spend time with a nice big herd of elephants like this. Look how cute it is. Now that cute little baby already weighs more than me. Now, like everything out here, elephants do have natural predators, whanawa. And the only real natural predators to elephants are lions and hyenas. And that's only when they're young or injured. Other than that, human beings, I suppose, you could consider to be a natural predator. So there we go, just as I was hoping the herd's going to pass right next to us. Look at the little one being scurried along by a cousin. Hi, guys. Another baby. Oh, man, this is amazing. Well, we're not doing anything. We're still... It's okay. That little one just trying to keep up with Mom. Oh, it's a lovely big herd. They are heading down towards Twin Dam, so hopefully they're... Oh, right behind you, Sense. Another elephant. We are completely surrounded. Okay, let's see. They've passed us. Let's move again. Now, is a lot of very... So, Fluffy Osaka has posed a very interesting question. What are the do's and don'ts when habituating elephants? Well, a lot of that goes on reading the actual animal's behavior at that very moment. So as soon as I could see the one female was a little bit upset, I started talking. The most important thing is don't stop talking. You can keep talking, but as long as you stay calm. You don't want to start the car, rev the engine, make big noises. Yes, you're very brave, and I saw you rip that terminalia branch off all by yourself. So most important thing is to stay calm. If you are unsure on reading elephant behavior, rather don't get too close. You can still see them well from a distance. Fortunately, most of the elephant herds here in the Sabi Sands are very relaxed around people, and they are viewed frequently. Oh, Sens, look at the two little babies over there. I see them through there. They're having a little push and shove, having a good game. Those two little ones who just passed next to us are playing with each other, pushing each other around. Now, as I said, the one mom was a little bit nervous, so I'm just waiting to see where she is before I try and move us a little bit forward. So again, most important thing, Fluffy Uscones, stay calm, watch the body language, look for the tail, whether the tail's becoming erect. Okay, let's move a bit closer. Watch if the tail's becoming erect, watch if she's lifting her head, watch the general body language. Will let you know whether the animals are relaxed or not. You can see it in seconds. I mean, you can see when a herd of elephants doesn't want you around, and then it is best not to be around. Oh, there are those two little troublemakers. I'm going to keep up with this elephant herd. I'm hoping they'll go for a swim in Twin Dams. While we do that, Taylor has got something that wants to not be stood on by an elephant.
The first time in the history of Safari Live that a tortoise made an escape. He travelled about, I don't know, David, how long would you say? About 50 meters? Easy 50 meters. Gone. Sorry, it was a big leopard tortoise. It was quite cool. It's nice to see the tortoises out. There have been a few tracks crossing the road. Maybe next time, maybe next year. No, I'm only teasing. When the next hot day is, they'll probably be out. One of the bigger ones that I hadn't seen for a while. I didn't even get out to go and look if it was a male or a female. It was just quite funny watching it race away. But it walked on an animal pathway, which I also found interesting, because I can't say that I've ever seen a tortoise navigating on an animal pathway before. They normally just go wherever. This one was definitely choosing to walk there. So we're just having a little scratch around because there's some really nice marula trees around here, casting big shadows, and then also lots of these little bush willow thickets. So there might be a leopard laying underneath one of them. And I'm just lingering a little bit because the Styx-Pride are not far. They're at, I think they're near Little Gowrie Dam, which is not far from Gowrie, Maine, in fact. So, you know, if they start moving and they pop into Baboon Pan, we can always go over and say hello, or maybe they come onto Chitwa. I'm not sure where they're going to go. They have been walking around here. They walked right past the lodge last night, down one of the fence lines. So we'll have a little scratch and see what else has happened here. We'll go check on that Impala that we saw a little while ago. Linda, Maurice, I'd actually forgotten where Maurice was. He's in my room. He's on my skateboard. He's getting ready to go on holiday. So Maurice is already in his holiday civvies and ready to get going. This is my last afternoon safari. Won't see me until the 9th of May. I'll be gone for a little while, but I'm coming back. Don't worry. Please don't start rumors that I'm leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm still coming back, I promise. And yes, so I'm going to pack my bags tonight, and Maurice will also go in the suitcase. Maybe he can sit in the front seat with me. I haven't decided yet. And yeah, so that's where Maurice is. He's in camp, back in camp. He said to me he didn't want to come out on safari. He was done with safaris, which I thought was quite rude. I mean, I would have told a bit of a story. So I just have to go check something quickly. I think I dropped my sunglasses out somewhere there in the airstrip somewhere. So yeah, we're going to do one more loop and then I think we're going to head away from Chitwa until we get some interesting news. I did see. That's exactly where I'm going, Luke. So I spoke to Sheldon, who's a Chitwa guide. You know, the man with the moustache and the beard. You know him well. I always stop and talk to Sheldon, and he'll give me a shout if anything does happen. He got so excited when he saw me today because I think he thought I'd found leopards, but I hadn't found them. It was just the squirrels. He was a bit disappointed. Oh, thank you. You're all so kind. Oh, I'll jump on a drive and then harass everybody, and then you won't be asking any questions. The directors love it when the presenters do that. Now, I'm very, very envious of Brent this afternoon because he's managed to find actual elephants. And I hope I get to see some. So why don't we go back to him so you can look at those sweet things. And I'll look.
Well, there's a little greeting ceremony going on behind us. Those low rumbles. I'm trying to see what's going on exactly. What's your problem, little madam? So there's still a huge amount of elephants pouring through. So we were only with the front runners. And there must be at least 50 or 60 ellies around here. Hello, little girl. What? What you want? Not too interested in Sens. Far more interested in what's behind Senzo, which is some grass. Here comes this big female. It's okay. It's okay, big girl. It's okay. Okay, we just have to keep very still now. She's just checking us out. Now, ladybird, elephants will have quite a large home range that they will move through, but sometimes, depending on the situation, they can move out of that home range completely. You can see all the elephants behind her. She's busy smelling probably some other elephant urine that was there, or that elephant dung. I'm just making sure she's not upset with us. She did just stop quite abruptly, but you can see, just have a look at the baby it's suckling Sense. So that's a calf, looking at those little tushes. It's probably just over a year old. So it still isn't weaned yet. They're only weaned about 5 or 6. Okay, Sense, just keep very still when this big girl comes past. Just keep still. Just keep still. I think there's a bull that's causing some havoc amongst the herds. You can hear some shouting behind. Okay, she's fine. Grace, no, they will not feed the little ones grass and stuff. The little ones will eat by themselves. Don't you come start trumpeting and causing trouble. I can see that on that look on your face, little one. You just look like you're up for nonsense. So there could be some big bulls around. I just heard some trumpeting. It sounds like some upset elephants. Here we go. So unfortunately, we've still got more coming through behind us. I can't move the car just in case we upset them. Now, they are heading towards Twin Dams. So I'm very interested to see if they visit the carcass and the bones of that elephant bull that was killed by a big elephant a couple of weeks ago. Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Good. Very good, thanks. So there we go. It's the Juma Safari vehicle coming past us. And as I said, there's still more elephants coming through. But I want to get round to the other side. Hi, Matthew. Matthew is 10 years old. Matthew, an elephant's trunk on a big male elephant can get to about 2.5 meters. And they are really spread out through here. At the moment, they're going in some thickets feeding. It's very thick in there. I'm not going to off-road after them, but they are slowly moving towards Twin Dams. So what I want to do is I want to go around and wait on the other side to see if they do come and visit that elephant, the bones of the elephant that died a couple of weeks ago. So once female elephants get beyond 30, they are quite hard to age, Zach, until they are very old. And with the way those elephants are moving through the bush and how many there are, it's quite difficult for me, without spending a bit more time around, to try to determine who is the matriarch. Now, what has probably happened, because there are so many elephants here, is you've got 2 or 3 different family groups, so you could have 2 or 3 different matriarchs that we've seen. But generally the matriarchs will be an adult female over 30 years old. As I say, without spending quite a lot more time with a particular herd, it is quite difficult to spot the matriarch, especially in this broken bush like we were viewing them in there now. So as I'm going to shoot around towards Twin Dams. Hopefully they might have a swim. Hopefully they will visit, or they might visit that elephant, those elephant bones that are there. So it's going to be very fascinating to see what happens next. Okay, let's go see what Stivovo is doing by the waterhole.
Yes, well, your elephants apparently are going towards water. We have found ourselves a little pan, a little mud wallow that warthogs and elephants would like to frequent. I can tell elephants have been here because they've left behind a little package. A little package here right next to the pan. Let's see if there's anything underneath. Oh, it's stuck to the ground. Oh, my word. I wonder if you want to come have a look at this. Obviously, we don't want to disturb them too badly, but there's an entire termite colony doing what they're doing underneath here. Obviously don't want to disturb the termites too badly, so we're just going to lift it up quickly, have a look at how they are completely decomposing this entire elephant bolus. But very, very important to put that back again and let the termites do their thing. You'll notice by the color of these guys that they're not the same as the harvester termites. They're very white in color and very sensitive to the sun. So that's how they will actually go inside this bolus. They'll break down the entire inside, and the last thing to be broken down will be this outer shell, and the entire elephant bolus will eventually turn into just a pile of sand, which will then just disintegrate back into the soil. Isn't that just marvelous? The little things. This one, I think, is going to be the same, so we're going to leave that one alone, let it do its thing. I don't want to disturb these termites unnecessarily. So that's 2 termite species that we've physically seen in one afternoon, which is great. More elephant dung, more elephant dung. And we can tell by the ground over here that it is being broken down. This has been kicked open by someone. You can see how attached it is to the ground. You can really see the sediment inside. This is from the broken down excrement, saliva and soil that they're bringing up. If you look at this compared to the ground where we are, it's a very different soil that's being brought up, and that's where the nutrient recycling comes from. So marvelous indeed. Little termites, their little activities. On we go. We're checking all these little water holes and pans to the west in hopes we might get some activity of, as we were trying for elephants, and maybe we get the Shadulu female coming through. Jamie, the smartest mammal. Ah, well, it's probably the dolphin. I wouldn't say we're the smartest. Non-mammal, smartest non-mammal. Well, that's a very interesting question. I mean, I think birds are very instinctive. It's a very difficult question to go into. It's a difficult topic when we talk about intelligence and smartness and stuff in the animal kingdom. Insects are instinctively, they are born or they are hatched, and they are everything they need for their survival is ingrained in their lifestyle. It's just there. They don't have to think, they don't have to learn. It's just pheromones dictate absolutely everything in an insect's lifestyle. Birds, a lot of them learn from a young age, but then a lot of what they do, sort of innate behavior, that's learned behavior, or it's ingrained behavior. For example, weaver nests, they're able to build those without being taught how to do that. So I find that incredible. Can you imagine being born with the ability to do everything you need in your life with your hands, or your beak in the case of a bird? It's a very good question. Reptiles, they're all very instinctive. They know exactly what to do when it comes to reproduction, food, all pheromone based. So chemicals that get triggered in the brain just tell them what to do. So it's a very tricky thing to talk about smartness in the non-mammal kingdom. But I think all creatures are incredibly smart in just the way that they go about their livelihoods. And managing to go about everything you need to from the moment you're born without any instruction, I think that is a marvelous design, and that's what's allowed insects to go as far as they have. But their life cycles are very short, so they don't have the time to learn. They have to be born or hatched with that ability, and then they can slowly just grow up, do their thing, reproduce, and then die again. Whereas mammals, much more long-lived, not born with as much instinct, a lot more learned ability in their behavior, depending on the length these animals go for. For example, elephants, there's a hell of a lot they have to learn from a young age. Monkeys, baboons, humans. I mean, if you threw a human baby out into the wild, would it survive? I don't know. Not without some form of support, it wouldn't. Whereas any non-mammal, being a bird or a reptile or an insect, generally do okay out there. Obviously the birds, the early stages are quite tricky. So more water points, more water holes. Okay, well, we'll keep checking these water holes on the west, and let's go back over to Brent and see if he's managed to catch up with his ellies.
There we go. We've made our way towards the site where that elephant was. The ellies are still quite far away. Isn't it incredible how it's completely disappeared? And you can see there have been other elephants visiting the site. You see the dung here, sense. That's not from that's from another elephant that has come past here. But even something as big as an elephant, you can see how far and wide everything is scattered. It is incredible. Now, unfortunately, fluffy ossicones, we have too many elephant herds that come through here to keep track on each of them like we do with the lions. We do have a few herds that have, well, are named after an individual in the herd. So Fang's herd, and there's a couple of individual bulls that we have nicknames for. But no, we don't have names for the individual herds. Let me just move the car quickly before the ellies arrive, and we can have a look at the skull. Now, it's still pretty smelly if you get close to the skull. Remember, there's carrion beetles and all sorts working on eating what's left inside the skull cavity, the brains and whatnot. So, ladybird, they will be able to smell that it's an ellie, not another animal. And there's a lot of different theories whether elephants mourn or not. I'm a little bit skeptic. I think they're more curious. Now, we've noticed lots of different behavior when this carcass was quite fresh, with some young boys even mounting the dead carcass. Oh, look at this. Isn't this amazing? Look how the hyenas have absolutely gnawed right through the scapula here. Oof, smelly. You can see that. They've gnawed to get to that a bit of marrow in the inside there. Shame boy. So he was quite young, and he was killed by a much bigger male. And we actually found him with his intestines hanging out when he was still alive. Now, this is what I find incredibly amazing about hyenas. Let's use my foot. Look at that. They have managed to chew through that massive leg bone to get to the marrow on the inside. That is insane. That would have taken a serious amount of time to do. And if you look at all the bigger bones where there's the potential at good marrow, these hyenas have gnawed and gnawed and gnawed through. Wow. So even the skin has been dragged off and chewed into bits. Sometimes you find quite a lot of big pieces of skin lying around on a carcass like this, especially if it dries out. But this time it hasn't. They've managed to drag off and chew whatever they can. Unbelievable. Big ellie bull, 6 or 5 tons, probably 3.5, 4 tons of meat, ton of internal organs, gone in a matter of weeks. Now I can hear the elephants. They're still quite far away, so what I'm going to do is head down towards Twin Downs itself, have a look if there's anything around there. Sorry? Yes? Sorry, what do you want me to show? Shamsung is wondering if we can show a vertebra. Of course I can, but I need a tool. It's still quite smelly. That one's no good. That one will do. I can do better than one vertebra. Yeah. I can do a bunch of vertebra. I want to put them... How about there? Is that okay, Sense? There. It's quite heavy. So you can see the little bits of sinew. Oh. Woo-wee! Not nice. Smelling. See the little bits of vertebra, and there's still ants and all sorts of bugs that are eating the sinew that's holding this together still. So there's some ellie vertebra. Massive. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 here. 2.5, 3 kilos, maybe a bit more. You see lots of stuff still eating on here. Lots of that. So that even though this carcass has almost disappeared for the bigger stuff, there's still huge amounts of life feeding off tiny bits of sinew like that. And oh, I don't want to touch the head, Senzo. It's very smelly. I should have brought gloves. Sorry? The brain is in here. The brain's up in here behind the eye socket. Now, there's still quite possible that there's goo inside the head, so I'm quite reticent to move it too much. Okay. Okay, let's have a look there. So you can actually see here where it broke that part of the jawbone from when it fell, when it died. You can see these teeth are still in good order. Getting quite loose. So here you've got one set of, one tooth that is, let me just figure out where we are here at the moment. Yes, so this tooth is coming out, and then this is the half end of another tooth. So already through, that set of teeth is about to disappear. Now, we have planned to move this to the tent at some point, but we're all waiting for it not to be so smelly and full of horrors before we move it to the tent. But we will move it to the tent at some point. But we're just letting nature's little carrion eaters do their job, eating all the smelly bits on the inside, because this is still going to be smelly for a few months. Just make sure the eddies don't sneak up on me. Sound like they're actually going to miss where we are here and they're going to go down there. Okay, so you can have a look here. So this is quite loose already, these teeth. Not quite ready to come out just yet, but they will. So as you can see here, this is the new tooth that's coming out, and that's the old tooth that's slowly just wearing away as the new tooth pushes through. Yeah, breathe through your mouth when you're doing this. Don't breathe through your nose. You don't want to smell what's going on. As I said, still quite smelly, but there we go. This is very cool. Let me see if I can find another one. I'll bring these closer for you to have a look at. So those look like pieces of plastic. So that looks like pieces of plastic. It is not, however. That is elephant tail hair. Incredibly thick, incredibly strong. Now, if you guys have been to Africa, you might have seen there are quite a few places that sell elephant hair bracelets. Now, I'm going to tell you about elephant hair bracelets. Most of the time when you buy an elephant hair bracelet, you're buying plastic. You're not actually buying an elephant hair bracelet. But if you are buying an elephant hair bracelet, think about it. Where's that elephant hair coming from? So don't. Unless you can be 100% sure where that elephant hair is coming from, do not buy elephant hair bracelets. There are certain places that you can buy elephant hair that has been collected from the animals that have died of natural causes, like Kruger. But most places, especially outside airports and stuff, most of the time you're just buying plastic that they're selling to you as elephant hair, or giraffe hair is actually a popular elephant hair replacement. So if it's skinny, but I mean, you must see the thickness of some of these here, and I mean, look how thick that is. Massively thick and strong. Can't break that. Now, is that take care? Yes, the teeth and tusks are made of the same thing because the tusks are teeth. They are modified in modified canines, so they are teeth. So yes, they are teeth. Now it doesn't look like the ellies are going to pop out here. Unfortunately, I might do another loop down back towards the Moati, see if they head that way. Wow, it's so strong. Senzo wants to have a feel, so I'm going to let Senzo have a look at the elephant hair. While we do that, let's see where Madam McCurdy is cruising to next.
About to go through a gremlin-infested area, in fact. And we had a couple of birds, we had a nice little bird party of starlings. We were having a bath in a puddle, which is very nice, but they flew away because they've got wings. So now Darby and I are just going to check a couple of spots. We're going to go through the Mulwati, and I think we're going to go on to Batleo Road. Right, before the gremlins attack us completely, off you go to sleep.
Well, sorry about the gremlins from Taylor's point of view, folks, but this is what happens out here. And we are still strong with our signal, still walking, haven't found any fresh activity of elephants or of female leopard coming into Djuma. We're now right up on the northern boundary with Buffelshoek, and we are just going to keep meandering, and hopefully we find something to eat soon, because I'm getting quite snacky. There's lots of little bushes around this time of year that have got really, really good feeding to them. But while we're here, there's a little scrub here. Seb, can you see him? I can see his ears. He's very well hidden. That's not the kind of feeding I was talking about. If I was Hosana, though, that'd be right down my alley. Can you see him? There he is. Very reliant on his camouflage. He's just been sort of hiding underneath the thick bush here. Got him, Seb. He doesn't want to move. That is their strategy. Be camouflaged. Stand very, very still. And then come out at night when there's not as many dangerous things. They can avoid predators like leopards, but they really would struggle against aerial predators such as the eagle, many of the eagle species. If they were just mishing around feeding on the grass by day, they would fall very, very easy prey to many a raptor. So their quiet movements along the ground at night and their very quick boundy movements and then freeze tactics keeps them safe from predators, not all the time. Okay, well, from something that hops around on the ground, let's go to something with Taylor that's hopping in a tree.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if I could hop in a tree very well. That would be disastrous. I'd just fall out. But we have got vervet monkeys in leadwood trees, which is awesome to see them all the way up top there. Now, there's one that is so high in a tree, it's scary. Now, leadwoods are massive trees, and some of the trees that live for the longest too. But way up on the top of that one, that must be in excess of 30 meters tall. Easy. Maybe 35 meters tall or so, this tree is a vervet monkey. And I would imagine that that would be one of the males in this troop, just keeping a lookout. I don't know if it is, I'm just guessing. All the way up there's a good spot. You can see quite far down the Mulwati, which is one of the dry rivers in this area. I have yet to see it flow. We can't call it flowing when it's less than ankle deep and then an hour later it subsides. To me, that is not a flowing river, which I've seen it do that like twice. And in the tree with it, there's a couple of little birds too. But look how crazy that is. Look how high up and look at it. That is unbelievable. But again, a very, very good spot if you're wanting to see something from far away coming towards you. And now you can see when monkeys do alarm, sometimes they might be looking a few kilometers out. It's not always that the animal is right below them. Now just sitting in a bit of a shady spot there, enjoying himself, still looking around. And no one else is in that tree with him. He was in that tree all on his own. The rest of the troop was feeding above us. We can't really see them very well. He doesn't seem to be feeding. I think the flies are bothering him. It kind of looks like me. Hey, I do that a lot. That's literally all I do. Now, Shamsa, no, I don't think the vervet monkeys would kill a duiker like the baboons do. I mean, vervet monkeys eat insects and things like that. But I physically haven't seen a duiker, like, holding a bird or a mouse or a rat or something along those lines and feeding on them. But I have seen them eating a lot of insects. It's the baboons that typically do that. There's a little one, I think it might jump. If you go a little bit further down, there's these, yeah, he's coming there. He's about to hop up. He just ran up the main trunk of the tree. Let me just see if I'm too short. Oh, there's Mom. He's somewhere, there he goes. Up he goes. Toot, toot, toot. Yeah, thank you, little monkey. So it's the baboons that typically do that. But I've yet to see a vervet monkey. But again, nothing is impossible. They bite, though. Unfortunately, these vervet monkeys are very cute to look at, and they frequent the rest stops in the national parks, and people cannot help but feed them, which of course is a death sentence. You feed a monkey or a baboon, you're going to be the cause of end up losing its life, because they become a big problem. And if you start to say no, they'll just take what they want and they can bite too. I know a lot of people that have been bitten by vervet monkeys, so you need to be careful, and they carry all sorts of diseases. And Paula, I suppose, yes, the vervet monkeys do migrate because they're moving around searching for new food. So they need to be careful, though, because there could be other troops in the area, and they're not going to take too lightly to another group of vervets coming on through. But if there's no food here, I mean, then there's no reason for them to stay here. This one is doing some grooming, some Thursday afternoon grooming. It looks like it's actually pulling little ticks and things. Oh, hello, another one. Guide monkey, I've definitely seen vervet monkeys eating eggs, but I haven't seen them eating any chicks. But I suppose if they get an egg and it's developed and it's not just the yolk anymore, they might eat it. I just haven't actually seen them do this. Again, just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. There's a lot of things recently that I've been seeing, which have been quite amazing. I don't think these monkeys are eating the pods. I don't know what they're doing up in the leadwood trees. I haven't even seen them nibbling on the leaves either. But no, that one was getting a helping hand there. And that older monkey, maybe it's Mom, was grooming in a hard-to-reach spot. And now they're just sort of sitting around. Yeah, I was trying to figure out what they were eating here. I don't think the pods would be too nice. Of course, the leadwood is Combretum and Burby, so it's part of the bush willow family. And pods aren't particularly tasty. Some of them poisonous to us. Again, just because we can't digest them doesn't mean that it'll do any harm to the monkeys or any of the other animals. Different digestive systems. Now, I have once seen vervet monkeys shouting at baboons and baboons shouting back at vervet monkeys, but they didn't quite interact with one another. I'm so sorry, I don't know who asked that question. I just went straight over the top of my head. Ginger. There we go. Sorry, Ginger. I mean, they typically, the vervet monkeys will keep out of the way of the baboons. The baboons are much bigger, much stronger, much louder. And the vervet monkeys know how dangerous they can be, so they'll stay out of their way. So I'm pretty sure if there was a troop of vervet monkeys up in a tree, and in a marula tree, feeding on marulas, and baboons came through, the vervet monkeys would get out of there very, very quickly, as quick as possible. But I haven't seen any altercations. I've just seen them shouting at one another before. But maybe Brent or Steve have seen something different. Yes, check between your toes, because that's where the ticks will like to hang around. And you might even have a few burrs there, or some of the grass seeds stuck in your fur. Amazing how flexible they are too, reaching right back to have a bit of a scratch. Minamu, the stock standard call of a vervet monkey, the normal one you hear, the alarm, which is the classic. They're not listening to me. Basically is the one that you normally hear, and that's when they've seen a predator of sorts. That's their alarm call. I'm sure they have other soft sort of communication. You often hear them shouting at one another, sort of like squealing, screaming sound. You've heard domestics between baboons, and you've also heard it with the vervet monkeys. I can't make those noises, and I'm pretty sure they communicate quite well through body language as well. I don't necessarily think that they need to chatter all the time. Remember, out here in the bush, you don't want to make too much of a noise, because then you can be spotted quite easily. So they tend to be on the quieter side, maybe communicating via facial expressions from a distance. And then I say, like, body language, I think, will be a big one. Anyways, Brent got distracted by the elephant carcass. I wonder if he's managed to find those big grey animals.
Unfortunately, they're still deep inside those quarry thickets, making noise, feeding away, so they're not moving too fast. And the temperature's dropped quite a few degrees in the last little bit. So in case those lions get up and start moving, because there's no one else there, I decided we'll head back towards the Nkomas. But I have been spoiled today. It was so awesome to catch up with some eddies. If the lions have moved and gone into Torchwood, then I will go back and look for the eddies again. Hopefully they would have moved through that thick area. And of course, you never know what's going to happen on a live safari. Now, I've seen quite a few large gatherings of animals in my time, Jamie, but nothing really compares. Well, I'll get to the largest gathering first. The Kwando River and Chobe waterfront in Botswana, you can see in a very short time, you can see 1,000+ elephants. I also saw probably, as far as I know, the biggest recorded herd of buffalo in living history in that area, about 4,500 buffalo in one herd. And I feel very sorry for the poor student. So it was so big that when we reported to the Botswana parks and nature conservation, they sent up an aeroplane and they photographed it and then printed out the photographs of the herd. And some poor student had to sit there and count each individual buffalo. So they counted just over 4,500 buffalo, and obviously it probably missed a few little ones and whatnot. But of course, the largest congregation of animals I've ever seen in my life is in Kenya, in the Maasai Mara, the massive wildebeest and zebra during the Great Migration there. And guess what? It's not even the largest migration of mammals in Africa. There are two migrations that are mammal migrations that are more in numbers than the Maasai Mara Serengeti migration. And I'm going to ask you what those are. Hashtag Safari Live if you know. I want to know where and what animals are in those two different migrations. Both are larger than, in terms of numbers, than the migration in Kenya and Tanzania of the wildebeest and zebra and tommies. Okay. Very good question, Emily. Now, it all depends on the day to what animal covers the greatest distance in a day. But I would say the animal, on average, probably that covers big distance regularly in a day is an elephant bull. They can move very far in a single day, and they just have that gait that eats up the yards as they walk. So I'd probably say an elephant bull is the one that can cover the longest distance in a day. But on any given day, a lion, a leopard, zebra, buffalo can all cover massive distances depending on the circumstances around them at that time. Oh dear. No, not oh dear. We have a head up, but we have not lost our lions, thank goodness. They are still snoozing. Hello, kitties. I'm glad you have not moved off just yet. As I say, the temperature is dropping quite quickly, so there is a possibility they might get moving a bit earlier. It is one of those catch-22 situations because we are right on our boundary. Now, there we go. Well done to Fluffy Ossicones and Cassandra. The largest migration is the straw-coloured fruit bat. And there's about, I think, depending on the year, up to 5 or 6 million straw-coloured fruit bats that migrate out of the Congo Basin forests to Kruger National Park in Zambia. But there is another large mammal migration, so not a bat migration, a large mammal migration that beats the wildebeest and zebra and Tommies for second. Oh, well done. Who cares? I'd forgotten. I'll do that on my way home. I'd forgotten to pick up the lion, the little lion claws out of the poo. That is very well remembered. Oh, still quite flat. Ah, well done, Aaron. It is indeed the white-eared cob that migrate to and from the Sud in southern Sudan. And it's estimated that in terms of numbers, they are the greatest single mammal migration in Africa. I would love to go see that. Unfortunately, South Sudan, I have been there before. It's not a place you want to go on safari just yet, and you tend to have to duck AK-47 bullets being flung around by people at the moment. So maybe in a few years it'll be safe enough to go see that migration. There is one mad Russian man who runs safaris in there in an ancient Antonov aeroplane. Okay, well, we're going to sit with the Nkuhumas. Hopefully they do get moving as the sun starts getting lower in the sky. Let's go see what Steve's found on the ground.
Yes, well, thanks, Brent. We have got elephant tracks on the ground, and we, haven't spoken about elephant tracks. Well, I haven't anyway in my time here at Safari Live, and so we thought, seems we found a marvellous set of male elephant tracks walking in the road. Let's talk about them. And what is the first thing to talk about? Well, how do I know it is a male elephant? Well, there's two reasons behind that, and we're going to get to that in a moment. But first of all, what direction is it going? If you needed to follow this animal, how are you going to know which direction it is to go? So there's two tricks to knowing direction. First of all is that the foot, the weight of the foot, when he steps down, the back of the foot is very, very heavy. So you get this sort of shiny, sharp bit at the back. And this is, in fact, the front foot over there. Just drawing it out in the line. Okay, and here's very shiny. And now the back foot actually has stepped on to the front foot and it is there. Okay. And so now when an elephant walks, it always walks with its front foot down, which is the round one, very, very round, because all the weight is on the shoulders, with the head and the shoulders. That's where all the weight is. So the front foot is very round. So you identify where the front foot is, identify where the back foot is, and the back foot will always step on the front foot further forward. It never really steps behind unless he's standing still. What's happening here is he stepped on the front foot, but only marginally. You can see that. So this elephant was walking at a very relaxed pace. The further forward this back foot goes in relation to the front foot, the faster the elephant's moving. So bear in mind, elephants can't run. They just walk at a very fast pace. And when this back foot is all the way in front of the front foot, it's a very good indication of speed. But because the back foot is on top of the front foot here, you can ascertain the weight in the shape there, the shininess, and the fact the elephant is going that way. Another very easy trick is where the toe has hit the ground. The toe has walked like a scuff mark and has pushed the sand forward. And apparently some trackers are able to look at elephant tracks and tell you exactly who the individual is. It's almost like a fingerprint. Okay, so by the size of it, I'm going to assume it's a male. There's only 2 tracks in the road here, so probably 2 males. And then this wonderful little movement in the ground over here. You can see there's a bit of a stroke in the ground, and that is the elephant's trunk. As he's walking, he drops his trunk on the floor, just like that, and he moves it off sideways. He's busy smelling the ground. He's trying to follow the breeding herd, trying to find where they are. And this is a very good indication of a male elephant when they're walking like this at a very slow pace, just trying to find wherever it is that the females might be. And this indication of the sort of brush sweep across the ground is something very characteristic of male elephants. I'm not saying females don't put their trunk on the ground, but they don't follow a scent trail on the ground. They might stop and pick up some dust, but as we're walking here, there's plenty of them. As he's walking, he steps, he steps, he steps, and there's always that brush stroke down on the ground. So if you wanted to find the elephant, you know, okay, this is a male elephant. He's heading in an easty direction because the sun is where the camera is shining now. He's moving at quite a leisurely pace. So if you could ascertain the freshness of it, it would make it much easier to follow. But if the elephant was moving at a much faster pace, then you'd have a lot harder time trying to catch him. So let's see how we go. I don't think this track is from late this afternoon. It's probably from sometime yesterday. So we're going to follow them for a while and see how they go. But while we do that, let's go over to Taylor and see how her drive is coming along.
Right, I'm hoping the gremlins don't get us here. Hang on, hold on, bear with me. Okay, we should be in the clear now. Yay, we made it. Amazing. So, Johnny, here's something cool. I bet you do. Also, if you don't, well, too bad. So, as you know, most of you are probably watching on YouTube, watching Safari Live, right? Because it's just the best. Now, we are almost on 100,000 subscribers. Almost. Like, we're 99.96593,782,001. Just joking. Ha ha ha. South Africans will get it. And we would like to reach 100,000, but we need your help. We can't do it. We've already subscribed. So if you haven't subscribed yet, it's quite nice. You can do so. You can just click I think it's red and it says subscribe on the Safari Live YouTube page. And then you can also find the little bell, and what that will do, it's amazing technology, is that every time we go live, it will send you a notification that Safari Live is now going live. So if your grandmothers don't have an email address and YouTube, well, best you get cracking and maybe sign them up and help us. Let's see if we can try and reach 100,000 subscribers by the end of the Sunset Safari. Did you tell me to shush? I'm so confused. Luke, please could you say that all again to me? The way that came across, Trish, I thought you were telling me to shush, and I was like, I'm just trying to do my job. I'm just doing what I'm told to do. But you didn't. I think you said wowzer or something along those lines. But the way it came across, both David and I looked at each other and went, oh, absolutely mortified. But don't worry, Trish, I'm not mortified anymore. I'm fine now. But I did almost have a little panic attack. And went, okay, fine, I'll just stop talking. I'll just drive like this. And sulk. Hysterical. Right, we're going to head in the direction of the Buffels Hook cut line and see if Shadula hasn't maybe popped back. But Brent is back with the Nkahumas for the second time, and I bet that they're still sleeping.
Well, there was one head up very briefly. Well, it's still sort of up. But for the most part, yes, the pride is still fast asleep. But we all know it's important to be patient when out in safari. There could be some unsuspecting buffalo or waterbuck that wanders up to us. And the pride might wake up in a split second. Very important to be patient. Sharon, I'm not sure how many were counted this morning, but when I could only count 10 when I was here earlier, but with this long grass it can be quite difficult, so let's try again now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11? Is that another line behind there? I'm going to have to move. Again, let's have a try from a different angle. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 there. Now, let's do the swing round to see if there's one at the back. There's 11. Yes, I can still count 11. 11 flat, not so fat cats. They are quite skinny at the moment. Now, Gina, I would say that domestic cats are called kittens because they're little and cubs because they are bigger. I'm trying to remember where the turnaround point is. I think it's probably a cat the size of Serval, and it's the same as you could argue. I'm pretty sure it's all due to size. If you look at something like bulls and cows and rams and ewes, same thing, it's a lot to do with the size. So the bigger you are, well, you become a cat and a cub, or a lion and a cub, and if you're a little cat, you have a kitten. As I said, the same goes with antelope species. So out here, the turning species for us is a Nyala. You have a Nyala bull and a Nyala ewe. And then anything bigger is a bull and a cow. Kudu bull, kudu cow, waterbuck bull. Anything smaller, bushbuck ram, bushbuck ewe, Impala ram, Impala ewe. Oh, are you going to wake the rest up? I hope so. As long as you don't go to the east. Now, take care. Instinct is definitely genetically transferred. It's hundreds of thousands of years of genetics at work. It is sort of instinct is the epitome of genetic transference. Here we go, wake up. Stop chewing on grass, go chew on a buffalo. It looks like some of them might be getting a little bit more mobile. There's some heads popping up. They did walk a really long way yesterday, which means they might get going a little bit late this evening. Something smells good out there. Testing the breeze. Now, the adults haven't moved at all, just the little ones so far. Shame. Hungry kitties. Now, all predators are opportunists, Finalia, and if they are hungry enough, yes, they will eat other cats like leopards. Even sometimes if they're desperate enough, if they kill a hyena, they will eat the hyena. It all depends on how hungry they are. Hello, Toofies. The Nkahuma Pride are going through a bit of a rough spot at the moment with the Avoca males around, and the Birmingham's not putting in much of a presence. But that's the life of lions. And it's a constant sort of roller coaster between the good times and the tough. Now, currently Zephyr, no. If the Avocas take over, they'll kill all lions under 3 years old, as a general rule. So the sub-adults are definitely not old enough to survive a takeover just yet. Sometimes they might leave some of the females that are on 2.5 years old, but generally have to be over 3. Oh, stretch. Dennis, not that we've seen, but we assume they have. They were on a buffalo carcass in Buffelshoek when all of a sudden the Avocas were on the carcass the next day. And the youngest in Kahuma, the cub that was about 6 months old, hasn't been seen since that day. So yes, there's a strong possibility that they have come into contact, they have almost certainly come into contact with the Avoca males. Yeah, patience time with the Nkahuma Pride. In the meantime, let's go see what botany Steve is going to teach you next.
Yeah, well, thanks, Brent. I hope the Nkumas get up soon and show you some action. They are a marvellous pride. How wonderful to have them back in the area. So the reason I stopped here, I was actually looking for something a bit fresher. But you can see on the branch of the stem here how the bark has been ripped off. This time of year we see a lot of damage to trees like this. This is obviously very old, but with the Impala males coming into rutting season, they will actually stick their face in here. They'll thrash their horns against this, just like a punching bag. I've said it before, no one gets into the boxing ring without at least punching a bag a few times. And so what the Impala are doing this time of year, it's something you'll see Nyalarans doing, you see kudus doing it as well. Buffalo do it as well, but buffalo often it's to get the horn borer moths out of their horns. But the Impalas this time of year, they build up their neck muscles, they thrash these trees like this, and so very small damage. But what it's done is it's damaged the bark, and it's going to allow organisms, wood-boring insects, allow fire in here. All sorts of things might affect the life of this plant now, purely because of one Impala haram having a bit of a boxing match prepared for the up-and-coming rutting season. This is obviously a couple years old, but if a fire does come through here and burns this grass, that dead wood in the middle there would take the brunt of it, because the bark, as we know, is very important for protecting these trees against fire, insects, and disease, I suppose. And that is just from a small Impala. So not only are the elephants destructive in their doings, porcupines as well, when they feed on the bottom of trees, they take the bark off, and then Impala and buffalo that might do this as well. So pay attention to that and see how the Impala's necks in the next few weeks start going from here to these really thick, muscular necks, all because of fighting. Obviously, you've got a bigger, stronger neck, you're going to hurt someone when you fight him. I'm going to try and find a fresher one, and that's often seen by sort of more orangey sort of color. Ravinda termites, I would not say are a problem for trees. Termites are a problem for dead wood. So what that tree is now, that part of that wood is available, and termites could potentially be a problem for that. But termites in the Kruger Park, in these areas, aren't really that damaging on living material. As soon as it dies, it becomes food for termites. So that's why when people build homes out of wood, the wood is dead. You need to treat that to keep the termites from eating into that sort of material. But as a living organism, not a problem, not a problem. You will find sometimes, and I have been looking for it, something called bioturbation, where termites actually feed on the outer bark of a tree and remove a huge amount of that bark. We see that a lot with the sickle bush trees at the moment, or especially as it starts getting drier and drier, you'll see the sickle bush is getting a bit more damaged by termite activity, but they're only feeding on that dead outer bark layer, not getting into the cambium itself. So Ravinda, I hope that answers your question. We've got something here. There's a small bird here in the tree, ladies and gentlemen. What is that? Oh, wow. It looks like a little sparrowhawk, folks. Have a look at the color of the feet. Have a look at the beak. The beak is yellow with a black tip, yellow feet, and then very streaky, sort of, you'd call it barred chest. Now, if it had to turn around, you'd see, yes, it's also got the yellow eye. If it had to turn around, you'd see on its tail it's got 3 spots. 2 spots and then 1 spot on the rump itself. Fantastic, Rex, well spotted. Little sparrowhawk, one of the smaller raptors we have around. It's a little bit bigger than the pearl-spotted owlet, but it is the smallest accipiter that I'm aware of in the area. And it takes small birds, rodents, lizards, anything of that nature. You see how nice and how well that chest stands out from a distance. I might try and find a picture to show you what I mean by those spots. Pangolin, it is a gorgeous little bird. It is indeed. A little sparrowhawk, there it is. Okay, so the yellow eye is very characteristic. That yellow beak with the black tip, and then the yellow legs, differentiated from any of the other raptors you might find. But if I show you here, in flight, versus other raptors of a very similar sort of coloration, but it is very small, 25 centimeters. Let's get you another picture. There we go. How marvelous is that? Well, we talk about termites and we get birds. I think that's marvelous. Just sitting there, they do behave in a certain hawking type manner. They might wait for something, but it is getting to that late time of day where they're probably going to start roosting. Okay, so from this very small predator, let's go over to Brent with the largest predator we can find in the savannah.
Indeed, by far the largest predator we find out here in the African savannas. And there's a little bit more movement, not much, just the oldest female with the wound has started to do a bit of preening and licking of herself. So, when lions groom, they do remove parasites from themselves and from each other, pangolin, but unfortunately there are so many little parasites on them that it's near impossible for them to get them all. As you can see, quite a few of these lions have quite a few big ticks on them, but they are quite used to it. It's not unusual for lions to be infested with lots of different types of little parasites. Mostly ticks. As I say, they are hungry, that's why I'm with them, but they did walk so far yesterday that they might take a bit of time to get going today. Stretch time. Oh, doesn't that look good? As you can see, empty bellies. She's just going to flop down again while she's urinating. That's always a good sign. Normally after a stretch and a urinate. So let's just wait and see. She's going to, after she's finished urinating, she might flop down on one of the other lionesses. And that's normally a sign that trying to convince the rest of the pride that it's time to get moving. So there we go. Starting to greet. A bit of allo grooming. Come on, wake up, wake up. So let me just try and move back a little bit to see who she's grooming. Just stay there, so as you can see, there's a few more heads up now. How's that? As I said, we're about to see some behavior now. So let's just see. She might flop down on the other lioness. And okay, while we wait, we're going to send you across to Taylor, who's watching the setting sun.
It is gorgeous. It's not just the setting sun, it's the most beautiful view, a view we don't often get because of, well, all the haze that tends to linger around the Drakensberg Mountains. Isn't that gorgeous? The sun, unfortunately, has already gone behind the mountains, and this is one of the few spots on the property where we are able to get a lovely view like this. And I can't recall when we last had a clear evening where we were able to see the beautiful tapering of the Drakensberg Mountains. It looks like it's out of a movie. Well, not out of a movie, it looks like it's fake is what I wanted to say. But that is a stunning scene. We've had some spectacular moments. Well, I've definitely had some spectacular sunsets with the Drakensberg Mountains, but this is just unbelievable. Dark Aurora, I agree with you, it is picture perfect, especially with that tree that's just off to the left of the road. The dead tree, for me, makes it. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, that guy. I love that. I absolutely love these dead trees, equipped with 2 birds. Just sitting, calling probably for the last time. Look at the different colors, the different layers. And also, when we sit like this, it gives us an opportunity to try and hear what's around us. I was hoping to hear some alarm calls, because we're in the area where Shidulu could come back. But she's not around just yet. But who knows? The day's really starting for the cats, and it'll only get better and better. This is probably the best sunset I've had since I've been back. Even better than the waterbuck sighting. Right. But anyways, very nice way to end my cycle. And off you go back to Brent, whose lions have decided that they're ready to wake up.
So they went through that little greeting ceremony, and now they're on the move. So I say it is quite risky for us because we are on the boundary at the moment. Sorry, someone's just calling me on the radio. Standing by behind, I'm here, Tax and Aubrey making their way. They're busy moving north up Cheetah Line at the moment. Oh, they're going to flop again. That's not unusual. FM, you'll be first standby. Okay, there we go. As you can see, this is not unusual behavior for lions to get up and start moving and then stop again for a little bit copy yours. So just the other guys wanting to make their way here. So it's all the girls, the big girls, up and about in front of us at the moment. Oof! Flatulent lion. They are very smelly creatures, lions. Now, here come... Oh! They're flopping on each other down there, the little ones. Now, Fonua, yes, lionesses will actually often cheat on their male coalitions, and in certain parts of Africa, up to 48% of the cubs born to a pride are from nomadic males. So that will move through and will mate with the female. So if a male fails to join a coalition or happens to be out on his own when he sets off, a lot of these males become solely nomadic. And what they'll do is they will mate on the sly, on the sneak, with the lioness when she's an estrus before moving on to an area. And often those are quite good genetics, obviously, because that male lion's managed to survive by himself up into an age where he's able to breed. And he keeps moving and keeps doing that. And that's the way for a solitary male lion to pass on genetics, to pass on his genetics if he isn't able to control a pride. Let's have a look what the little boy is going to get up to here. And see if he's going to flop down onto one of the lionesses. He might get a swat. Oh no, he's going to flop down all by himself. Here comes the rest of the littles. Now we're getting a bit macabre here. Tanzania Travels would like to know, would lions ever kill and eat a pride member in desperation? Not that I've ever heard of before, but if a pride member is killed while hunting buffalo or by another lion or something like that, there have been records of their pride eating them. There you go. Now, as I said, this is not unusual behavior for lions at all. Get up, stretch, do a bit of grooming, then get moving, then flop down again, then get moving, then flop down again. And you can see as the temperature drops, they should become more active, especially because they are so hungry. Yes and no. I mean, they have a sense of direction, and not in terms of what we would traditionally call a sense of direction. They know the boundaries of their home range and of their core areas, but I wouldn't say they know north from south. But a lot of that direction will be controlled by scent of other prides, and also from the vocalizations of other prides will determine their sort of movements. No, there's still one more on the way. Francis, the buffaloes are constantly on the move, so I'm sure there's buffalo somewhere around, but at the moment most of the buffalo have been in the Manyeleti on the lovely gabbro grasses, but they do move to and from. And of course, as we know, this pride likes to specialize in buffalo. Okay, let's move around to the side of them. Yeah. Yeah, Tux, make your way. It's just me, and then Johan on first standby, yours on second. Okay, while we get ourselves into a good position to view them, let's send you to Madam McCurdy to see what she's up to.
Well, very exciting, very exciting. Now, we've got an Impala, not quite like lions, but we stopped him. We were trying to figure out what he was doing because he was stopping, he was listening and looking, stopping, looking, listening, and we got excited. We thought, oh, maybe there's a leopard here, but there isn't. I think he's just on high alert because he's all by himself. What is that noise? I wonder if there's an owl, little owlet or something that's around here, having a little nibble. He's covered in flies, hey? That's very unpleasant. Please let there be no stink bugs tonight. Pretty please. Otherwise I'm wrapping my face in my scarf. Oh no, it was a dove making that noise. Look, he actually even turned and listened to it. On absolute high alert, as you can see. Just constantly looking around. And this is where it is going to get dangerous for the Impala. He hasn't got a herd of females with him. So it's up to, well, I suppose just himself, hey, to look after his 6 o'clock. You can see those ears are working overtime now. He's even nibbling quietly, just in case. But I'd also be scared because Shidulu might be in the area too. But let's carry on up a little bit further. I'm hoping we get to see some little owls. I'd like to see a southern white-faced scops owl. David, maybe we can go and check. The other night on Inyala Road North, we saw one. It was quite cool. Maybe he'll be back. We'll check a little bit later. Not quite just yet. So for now, we're going to go up Gallagher. And then we're going to go... not... Apparently, I'm lagging. So off you go to Steve.
Sorry about Taylor's technical issues. We are slowly making our way back to camp. As you probably saw, Taylor, the sun has already set. It's just getting quite dark. We just take a little detour back, trying to get through the thickness here. And obviously, we have to pay very special attention to our surroundings as it gets darker. Not too many fresh signs or activities coming in from the north. Some zebra tracks, some giraffe tracks, some old buffalo tracks, but some old leopard, and obviously those elephant that we had for a little bit. But nothing fresh coming in towards where we're headed now. That's okay. It's been a marvellous afternoon out on foot with Seb. First time I've been out with Seb in some time, and he is caught on a very thorny branch. That is a knobthorn, probably a knobthorn branch. And you never tackle the knobthorn branch without bleeding. So I've no doubt Seb's going to have a couple wounds. But don't worry, he's a very strong man. He will survive. But it's getting dark. The moon is just coming up over there. It's probably about 3 days from full. And then we could probably do some night walks. Hey, Seb, you keen? A night walk. Only joking. I don't like walking at night. There we go. Dream, you'd like to know how often fires happen. Well, the fires are in the savanna biome, sort of happen every 3 to 7 years. That's sort of the frequency that allows the savanna biome to be the biome that it is. But it all depends on the fuel load. You need lots and lots of grass to create the fire or to burn, and then you need the ignition point. So a lot of these areas are quite heavily controlled when it comes to management, and they try and keep the fires out so they can make controlled fires when conditions are better. So for example, burning at this time of day when it's much cooler, there's hardly any wind, be a lot cooler fire than if you burnt in the middle of the day in summer. So these are things that people take into consideration. There's lots of private property around, so every one of these properties has got a fire break so that if a fire comes in from the north or wherever, you can put it out if need be, so that you can protect the infrastructure that you have in and around. But a fire is instrumental out here for the change in the dynamics of grass and trees. The Sabi Sands is very big. Rex, how big is the Sabi Sands? Do you remember? 75,000 hectares, the Sabi Sands itself, and you can double that to get the acreage. Acres are just about double that, but the Kruger National Park itself is about 4.4 million acres, 2.2 million hectares. So that is a really, really big area. And when we talk about fuel load, this is kind of what you're looking at. You see all that biomass there, all this grass cover. But a lot of what you see is in fact the flower or the grass inflorescence. That's, ow, there we go. Karma is, that was very sore, and karma just bit me in the back of the leg. Okay, well, it appears like that Brent is doing better than we are, not bleeding, and let's see what his cat's up to.
Well, they did what often happens with lion prides. They got up, moved a little bit, flopped over, went back for a snooze. But they're still definitely more alert, more active than they were a bit earlier. Heads are up. The temperature is dropping rapidly at the moment. Probably just here, you'll hear another game drive vehicle that's also here, and also the lovely call of a pearl-spotted owlet in the distance. As well as the noisy going-ons of one of the noisiest birds out here at all times, the fork-tailed drongo. There we go, some greeting, flopping. So these little moments between lion prides. Well, we got a bit of a sore foot there. Nothing too serious, but a little bit of a limp. Now, as I said, these little intimate moments between lion prides when they're not feeding are very important, as it helps reaffirm the bonds between the pride, because when they are feeding, they can be incredibly aggressive with each other. All table manners go out the door. Now, these little lions are still a bit of rather more of a hindrance than a help when it comes to hunting. Who cares? It'll be a while yet before they're actually sort of useful, effective members of the hunting party. They're still a bit small. Often at this stage is the age where they often give away hunts by being very keen to participate, but not quite having the experience or the patience. Now, if you had to leave one of these lions all off on its own, one of these sub-adults, without the threat of other lions, obviously, and hyenas, they would learn to hunt by themselves very quickly. You do not need to teach a lion how to hunt. All that is instinctively there. They know exactly what they need to do from the day they're born. Oh, going back to snooze. Now, we're sitting with lions at the right time of the day, okay? They're most active in the 2 to 3 hours after sunset and the 2 to 3 hours before sunset. That is when the most big cats are most active. Now, we're going to sit here patiently. Hopefully they do get up and on the move and don't visit our eastern neighbours. While we wait, let's see what Steve's found.
Yeah, well, what we found is a very dead buffalo, almost as dead as Seb after his injury with the thorns back there. He's joking. But this is an enormous buffalo bull, and Rexon was telling me that this was actually a bull that was taken out of a breeding herd by the Unkuhumas. So, an enormous buffalo. I mean, the size of this, the weight of that. You imagine trying to have that around on your neck all day, and the angle of these horns here, very, very smooth, and the buffalo is able to hook that underneath anything and lift it very, very well. Amazing how they can just lift their head, turn their head down and hook with that horn there. And I was saying earlier about buffaloes busy rubbing their heads against trees and things. They also get these living, while they're alive, they also get these horn borer moths that burrow into the horn, and it's almost like something moving around in your brain casing, busy munching away at the keratin in there, and they make the cocoon, and then they hatch out as a moth. So quite amazing how the Nkuhumas were able to bring down an enormous buffalo like this. Not an easy meal. You'd think they would go for maybe a smaller female or a youngster, but to physically take on this giant would have been a very hard ask for them. And that is why lions get the injuries that they get. Don't know how that one Nkuhuma got that injury on her back, on her hip, but it seems to be healing nicely. But tackling a big animal like this can only lead to you getting very, very injured. So it seems like Taylor's on the move, and we're going to be making our way back to camp quite quickly. So let's go to her.
Except I'm not allowed to go back to camp. Not that I want to go back just yet, because it's been the most beautiful evening out here. It really has been a great afternoon. Not necessarily filled with hundreds and thousands of animals, but David and I were talking. We're so lucky that this is our job. You know, even if we don't see any animals, we're still able to drive around in the bush, breathe in all this wonderful fresh air. It kind of smells a little bit elephanty this afternoon, and a bit woody, a bit smoky. I don't know. There's lots of scents that are sort of blowing around this evening, and just to see the sunset like we did, amazing. Oh my gosh. James, this is too hard to answer. I don't know if I have one highlight from this cycle. I thoroughly enjoyed all the wild dog sightings I had. They were all great. I enjoyed the mongoose, and the hornbills was an absolute cracker. That was such a great experience too. I've had some really amazing leopard sightings, some cool interactions between Tandia and Hosanna, seeing Tamba. We didn't actually see him bring down that female kudu, that fully grown cow, but still, we know that he was the one that killed it. Amazing. That was incredible. Didn't think that he'd be strong enough to bring him down. Just the changes, having the avoca males come and stir, nonsense. Hukumuri coming in, seeing him a couple of times. That's been fantastic. Lots of birds. A bird party this morning I really enjoyed with the blue waxbills and the green-winged partilia. That was lovely. So I've been very spoiled. I have in fact seen a number of incredible things out here. And then, well, the people, hey? Don't we work with such a nice team? The Gees, that's South Africa's favorite word, Gees. The spirit, the positive vibes that we have in camp is always nice. I went to the Kruger National Park yesterday. I didn't even went to Kruger. It was so much fun. We saw elephants, lots of elephants. All the elephants are between Satara and Aupen Gate, and all the zebra there too. May have seen the McCurdy herdie, who's a herd of zebra that we spent a lot of time with last year, that lived up here on the plains behind camp. We then also lots of things, but I'll continue chatting about them. I'll tell you a little bit more about Kruger when you come back to me. Next, let's go back to Brent.
Well, here come the lions, right down Cheetah Cut Line. Fortunately for us, they haven't moved off to the east just yet. So I've just got to keep still. They're right next to me. And so close. I'm just watching the monitor. Now remember, I've got no door when those lions walk past. It is an awesome, awesome feeling. I don't want to move too much when they do that because I don't have a door and my big feet. How cool is this? Absolutely awesome. Vernalia, it is completely safe to do safaris with open trucks at night. As you can see, the cats completely ignore us, and we get to see some very interesting behavior by them during the night. Here comes the next little troublemaker. Right next to us again. A little bit more nervous, one of the younger ones. It's watching Senzo, checking his new haircut. Senzo's do has come loose, so he's got half long, half short hair now at the moment. He's confused. Hello, kitties. Hello, kitties. We are incredibly privileged to be able to sit this close to the biggest cats in Africa. Isn't this amazing? Oh, we're going to IR. Last two. There we go. Bye, kitties. Okay, let's keep up with them. As I say, I'm hoping they don't disappear into Torchwood. Okay, well, let's keep up with the lions. While we do that, we're going to send you across to Steve and Taylor, who have managed to bump into each other.
Indeed. We just stopped on the road. We heard a vehicle approaching. We were going to hide in the bushes. I'm only joking, we won't. And look who we came across.
I don't know why it's such a creepy face.
That was quite a creepy face. So we are on our way home. It's been a fantastic afternoon. Apparently we're more entertaining than lions. Thanks, Luke. Well, you know, the lions are cool. We're cooler. It's just the way it is sometimes. But we're nearly home. We're probably about 4 minutes out, so we're going to keep walking. We're going to say goodbye to these lovely people. Dave looks like he's almost got his infrared light on. Marvellous stuff, Davisito. Have a fantastic rest of your drive, guys, and we'll see you back at camp in the next half hour or so for something refreshing to drink. There, she's got her dance moves down. And while she continues her dance moves, we're going to move on into the very fading light as the crested Franklin's alarm calling behind us here. And it's been a marvellous afternoon. Thank you for joining us on Bushwalk. Thank you to Rexon for the assistance, and to Seb and to all of you. We will see you tomorrow bright and early. And on that note, let's go to Brent with his very exciting lions.
Well, we're not looking at the moment. We're trying to get up ahead of them. So I'm just going to do that now. I'm just going to go see how far down the road they are. They're still coming. Unfortunately for us, they are not going east just yet. As you'll see, Taxon and Aubrey are also in the sighting with us. So let's just move past them. Okay. Song of Rain. I have had lions stop and take a sniff at me before. I have even been scent marked by a male lion once. I was parked here and there was a gory bush, and he stopped next to the gory bush and he sprayed me. Can you see them there, Sense? Okay. Now we have switched into infrared. However, the game drive vehicles will still be using their spotlights while following the lions until they start hunting. Oh, did they decide to take a break after we've shot all the way down the road in front of them? No, it looks like they are on the move again. Are we having a little rest? As I say, that's not unusual lion behavior at all. Walk, flop down, walk, flop down. Occasionally, yes, Venalia lions do visit the edges of the camp. We haven't had lions in camp, but in the Mara we've had lions in our camp there on a couple of occasions. I found something interesting to sniff down there. We were hoping they were going to keep walking towards us. We're just going to wait a little bit longer to see what they do. Okay, well, it looks like these lions are going to walk right up to us now, or at least one of the lionesses. So we're just going to sit tight right in this very spot. She should come right to us. That's why we parked a bit further down the road. You can see her eyes reflecting in the infrared, and she's heading towards us. Isn't that quite eerie? Oh, and she heard something. If she's heard something in that direction, it's good for us, because that's back into Djuma. Now, you might see some flashes from the guests on the photographic vehicles. The flash photography does not bother the lions. It's not going to interfere with them at all. They are completely oblivious to it. See, here comes the rest of the pride now. And so they should walk right up to us. Isn't that cool? Looking at those eyes. I just heard on the radio, I'm not sure if Taylor's been listening to the radio, but apparently there's a leopard on Impala plains, and I think Taylor is quite close to there. So if final control, can you pass that on to T? Yeah, they come right up to us again. Senzo's just whispered, scary. Look at that, isn't that cool? They're stopping, smelling, listening. T-Heart, indeed it is spooky. No, no, no Inkahumas. Bad Inkahumas. Bad, don't go that way. We want you to keep going that way. We don't want them to walk down that road. Unfortunately, that is the closest water is down that road. So we don't really want them. They haven't seemed to have made up their mind that they are all going down there just yet. And I think if they do, we're not going to get too many more views of our beloved Nkahuma pride. And look at this girl, how close they are to us. As you can see, they take no notice of the vehicles. I mean, they're right next to us. I don't worry about switching off the infrared sends, I'm sure, for a few seconds. Yes! Good girls. Good girls. Not going to Torchwood yet. They are acting like they've heard something. There are often quite a lot of waterbuck around here. Also the odd zebra. The zebras have moved this far already. Oof, isn't this magic? Piva, no, they're not going to see the predator's eyes shining in the infrared. The same as they wouldn't see an impala's eyes shining in the infrared. So they stopped and trying to decide which way to go again. Saskia, the lions when they're moving like this are very, very quiet. You're just hearing their footfalls. They're not making any calls or noises because, of course, they're all together and they want to be as silent as possible with the evoker males around. Now we are still hoping that they go left and not right. And go left before the next boundary, which is, it's still quite far though. Oh, magic. No, Sue, none of the lionesses are pregnant. They've all had cubs recently, or lost cubs recently, and they're probably going to try avoid mating because of the evoker males. Let me move forward a little bit there, Sens. They've all suddenly decided they're going the right direction, guys. They're turning left, which is what we want. Something seems to have caught their attention off to the left. As I said, this is quite a productive area. There could even be an old buffalo bull in this area. But I think the most likely animals that are going to find in this area from what I've seen today is waterbuck and kudu. Okay. Now it looks like they are going into Djuma. We might have to do some work to keep up with them. I've got a plan though, don't worry, I've always got a plan. I know we have Central Road. I'm going to have to go in. I was just trying to think if there was an open area I might be able to zoot around to, but I don't think there is. Okay, so I'm going to try to see where these lions are going, try to stick with them. While we do that, let's send you back across to Taylor.
Who's racing? Because I'm always racing somewhere, aren't I? Either to a sale. No, I'm just joking. I'm never racing to a sale ever because I live in the middle of nowhere. To an online sale maybe. But we are racing to a leopard sighting. I don't know of who. Apparently it's a male leopard on Impala plains. So we're going. We're not far. I need to just drop a gear though. Now you'll see multitasking, presenting, spotlighting, Ferrari safaring. But we're not wild dog Ferrari safaring. Don't get too excited. It's not that bad. It always looks like we're going a lot faster than we really are in these dirt roads. These things get out of my way when I'm trying to get somewhere quickly. They slow you down. I'm going to take them strategically. We're going to handbrake turn around the next bend. Are you ready, Darby? Yeah. I liked that response. Okay, we're not really going to handbrake turn. We'll try. We'll drift. We're not. Also, we're not. It's a big joke. All an act. Now, Max, obviously it's a little bit darker now. We're doing drives until 6:30 p.m. Central African time, so around then. But like normally when you're with guests, we'd probably still be finishing at around 7 p.m., 7:30, staying out a bit later. But it's coming into winter now, so our drives are starting earlier, the sun's setting. Okay, we're almost at our handbrake turn destination. Almost there. One last hop, skip, and a jump. Oh, this is the coolest thing to do in the bush. One-handed drive, no-handed driving. Look at me go. I do apologize if I'm not focusing on all of you, but I want to try and get there quickly. Luckily, Ballinites Road is not a particularly long road, so we're almost there. Thank you. Yes, I am mature. I'm so mature. Thank you very much, Luke, for saying that. I don't behave like a kid ever. I'll be a big kid for the rest of my life. My whole life. You try to tell me anything else, and I just won't listen to you. I'm also trying to not eat the bugs. Like, that's actually my main goal here. We might see a leopard, but I don't want to eat any stink bugs tonight. Okay, we're almost here. Now, Bridge, I was talking about these sort of speed bumps. They're not actually speed bumps. Typically, these humps in the road will have a drain dug off to the side. So they form part of a mitre drain. So that when we do have a lot of rain and the water doesn't sort of congregate in the road, it sort of goes off to the side. But they do function as speed bumps. They work very well. Okay, we're going to arrive at Impala Plains. I see lights! I see lights! Yay! Let's see which leopard it is. Now, we, of course, are probably going to infrared in a minute. Let's just see what's going on here. And the car is not moving. Let me announce that I'm here. I don't think I can announce anything because there's much chatter on the radio. I did tell them I was going to be there fairly quickly. We're going slowly. Obviously not. You never Ferrari safari into a sighting, that's for sure. There's a snorkeling Impala off to the right of me. Okay. Oh, it's on the move, David. It's walking. Okay, you ready, everybody? We are going to switch into infrared now. Thank you very much. I can see him. Sorry, I think the people thought I was going to drive into the leopard, but I can see him perfectly fine. David, he's coming behind the car. We're just trying to get into a position where we don't see the vehicle. Let me carry on. There he is. He's just gone in front of us now. Just around the bend. So we are in infrared. So this is the most amazing thing. He's now disappeared though, so we're going to have to catch up to him. We're really, really lucky, of course. We do very little interfering with the animals, and at night, thanks to our wonderful infrared lights. Here he goes. I don't know who we've got just yet. I'm going to just stop. Let's have a quick look. We'll let him carry on. Right in front of the road. What's going on here? Did those snorkeling Impala attract your attention, leopard? I want to say that this is Hukumuri, but I'm not sure just yet. Please look at us, leopard. Obviously hoping that the leopard is going to turn and look at us. That's going to be ideal, but look at that posture, creeping down lower than the grass. I think this leopard is on the hunt. Definitely on the hunt. Well, maybe not right now, but looking for something. Okay. Turn my lights off. We're going to drive in the dark. I still don't know who it is, but I bet you all know. You can tell me by hashtagging Safari Live. I just haven't had the leopard look at me yet, and unfortunately I'm not very good at identifying the cats from the back yet. I'll get there one day when I'm big. But I also just need to be careful. I'm going to put spotlight on here because I know there's a couple of mud wallows, and if I move off of the road I don't want to be falling in a mud wallow. That's for sure. Also could be lots and lots of little things here like daycare. So I can go off the road. So I'll let these guys have a view too. There we go. Still walking, still don't know who it is. Something wrong. Still just slinking on down. Just taking it very easy. Now I'm not showing too much interest in that Impala that ran off to the right. Like I said, we are in a sighting with other vehicles. They're probably going to use spotlights. We're going to not use ours, but we're lucky because we can see in infrared. which is really nice. Also, I can't see what's going on. It's very dark now. I hope that I don't drive into a stump. Have another look. Anybody figured out who it is? I haven't got a clue yet. I'm going to say it's Hukamori. I don't think it's Tingana. I don't know if he'd be venturing on this way. I think he may have he did creep back towards Chitwa. James Richard, you said it's Hukamori. Amazing. I thought it would be him. I'll have another look at him again. He's not turning back and giving us his infamous stare, though, which is a pity. See that? Look there. Every little sound. He's turning his head very quickly, just looking around. So even though he's most likely going to be on like a territorial patrol, I haven't seen him mark yet, though. But it wouldn't surprise me if he cocks his tail every now and then and scent marks up against a shrub. Just listening, it's deathly quiet. There's no birds chirping, there's just insects. He's stopped, he's heard something. And that's going to determine where he goes, of course. I hope he doesn't go off the road here. Well, I hope he can do whatever he likes as a leopard. But if he does that, we're going to be in trouble because it's so thick. Very thick. I'm still just going all the way down the road. I would like to try and get past him. At the moment, the vegetation on either side is completely impenetrable, and we won't be able to do a little Mara maneuver, although we also get Sabi Sand. What can we call? We get Mara maneuvers, and then we need something for the Sabi Sand. Sabi Sand. David? Sabi Sand. Yeah, shuffle? Yeah, anybody chime in when you want? So we're looking for alliteration and something to just describe like a maneuver, a sneaky little trick. What a swivel! The Sabi Sand swivel. I like that. That's from Lou in Final Control. There we go. He did just mark. Okay, I'm going to pull off to the left now. Now it's really quite cool. Please don't be a mudwallow, Taylor. You're supposed to check. Is that a man? There we go. Let's have one last look. Wonderful. Here he goes. The moonlight is on him now. So if there are any Impala around in the open, they're probably going to spot his silhouette. But Brent, of course, has got lions, and they thought, well, I think they'd heard something. Let's go and see if they're still on the move.
Well, they are. They've come back onto the boundary. But their focus is still towards Djuma side. I wonder if they have heard something in the blocks. No, on the move again. Let me just have a quick look, see if the others are coming. Not yet. Here come the rest. See, there's still a bit of ambient light to the west. Now, they are definitely gearing up for a hunt, Danelle. They are hungry. There's a lot of hungry lions in this pride. So they are definitely on the prowl, hoping to catch something. They've heard something, but you can't really, of course, we can't really tell what it is. So they are listening and moving. They might hear the stomp of a buffalo's hoof, an old buffalo bull. They could hear kudu moving through the grass. So when the grass is long like this, they do rely heavily on their hearing to help them locate prey. Stop, listen, stop, listen. But they haven't showed that sort of proper crouched down behavior that the potential prey is close yet. listen as well. Of course, a lion's hearing is much better. And also there, all the subbies plonked down in the road behind us. All 6. And the 5 adults up ahead. So I wonder what's in this block here. I said very strong possibility waterbuck or kudu in this area. Amazing how still lions can be when they want to. Paula, I'm sure they hear something moving in the grass, some form of antelope, maybe a nyala even. Those ears out, listening carefully. It's one of those moments where I'm trying to listen so carefully and I can't hear anything. One of the lionesses decided it's better to listen lying down. Now, I'm not even sure which leopard Taylor's got. Apparently it might be Hukumuri, so let's go see if he's decided to get up and on the move.
Well, he's been up and on the move. He's just sat down now. He actually disappeared. I let the other vehicle jump on in front, and then they couldn't see where he went, so we decided to venture off-road just a little way, and then we found him, just sitting up in the grass. Classic Hukumuri. He likes to do this a lot, where he does just sit. I still have yet to see the front of his face, but I can't imagine what other big male leopards it may be moving around here. Other than his incredible stare, where he looks like he's put on about 30 coatings of eyeliner. Sorry, something's running in the bush. I wonder if it's a couple of impala being chased around. But anyways, I haven't actually found any sort of key identifying features. For example, with Tingano, who used to be the resident male in this area but has been pushed out, he's got a smiley face on his shoulder. It's quite cool. Maybe someone can share a screenshot for all the new viewers out there. And then he's sort of got bluish eyes as well. And very tattered ears, old Tingana. And Hukumuri seems to still be well intact. No, he's just sleeping. Look at that, completely camouflaged. It's as if there's nothing even there. Now, he was up on the move and, you know, sort of very much awake. Eleanor, just going back very quickly to trying to figure out what we're going to call this Sabi Sand version of the Mara maneuver. So, Eleanor, you said the Sabi Sand sidestep. Love that. That's fabulous, but I believe there's a few more. Ready for number 2. Oh. Oh, I like that. Nancy, you share your name with my car. My car's name is Nancy. So you said the Sabi Sand slip. I feel like that's what the leopards do to us. I think the leopards do the Sabi Sand slip often. But I like that, especially if it's been a very rainy day. We could quite easily, on Impala Plains Road, do the Sabi Sand slip. I've done that a few times myself, in fact. Often. I do it all the time. Ah, okay. Luke, in Final Controls Directing, Jeannie says that yours wins. The Sabi Sand Samba. Is that what I heard? Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I like the Sabi Sand sidekick. That's mine. Eleanor, in my eyes, you're the winner. You're already the winner. Sorry, if we didn't read them all out, you can tag me in them, and I'll choose my favorite a little bit later. But it just amazes me how this cat... Now, everybody is saying that it's definitely Hukumori. No, that's fabulous. There was no doubt in my mind that it was him. Like I said, I couldn't imagine another big male leopard moving around so boldly as he is. I mean, this is quite far north for the Anderson male to come walking around. And I'm pretty sure that the Anderson male is much larger, much bulkier than Hukumori is. Very interesting, though. He's paying attention, listening to every bit of movement. And this is a good area. We do see a lot of impala around here. That's why it's called, I suppose, Impala Plains. Hey, not because you see plenty of hippo, but there have been plenty big herds around, and lots of competition between the males, as we know, coming into the rutting season. So I think he's going to try his luck with maybe a big ram that's a bit on the confused side and not quite thinking straight. And that will be the best option for him. And then there's plenty of big marula trees to go with it that he can stash his killer on a tree too. And it's also in an area that Shidulu likes to hang around. So maybe the two of them meet up. That's definitely a possibility. Everybody panic quickly. We only need 150 more subscribers until we reach 100,000 subscribers on our YouTube page. Please, please help us. If I had Maurice here, Maurice would be begging too. If we can get 150 likes this evening before the show ends, we haven't got long, we've only got a couple of minutes left. Brent said he will get onto the top of his car and do a dance for you. I mean, Brent is just so generous. He always takes one for the team. So let's go across to him and hear how he feels about it.
Well, it all depends on how close I am to the Nkahuma pride before I do my dance. I might have to do a jig from in my seat if we get to the... what number is it? I think 100,000. So subscribe now, right now. Go subscribe if you haven't already. And the lions are still... That's on YouTube, by the way. Go subscribe on YouTube. I probably should have mentioned that. They're still there. They're still listening to something, but they're not nearly as interested as they were a little bit earlier. So I just need to be... You're welcome to stay. I'll be leaving in about 9 minutes. Okay. There we go. Some of them on the move again. As I say, still looking intent, but now the sub-adults have come. So it's possible that the potential for prey... They might have just moved off a little bit. They're not as close as they were. So the lions are heading off to see if they can get closer. And so the majority of the adults still schnoozing. 1, 2, yeah, all there. The sub-adults have got bored and started to move closer. Kaya is asking which of the best big cats are the cleanest. None of them. They are foul, smelly, creatures, all of the big cats, even though they look sleek and elegant and beautiful. But I'd say out of the big cats, cheetah are probably the cleanest, because they don't eat as much carrion and rotting meat as lions and leopards do. But they all have lots of nasty ectoparasites, parasites, halitosis, flatulence, you name it. They're all pretty smelly. Now, yes, YouTube viewer, lions' tongues are rough like house cats. They're even rougher, like very harsh sandpaper, that if they keep licking a spot on the buffalo's skin, they'll actually take the skin off. And on a soft creature like a human being that doesn't have all that hair over it, it would very easily, if they licked 5 or 6 times in the same place, remove the skin. Okay, well, our lines have gone flat. Let's send you back to Madam McCurdy with Hokomore on the move.
He's just slinking away now. Can you believe it? We're going to quickly go back. Sorry, I'm doing sneaky quick maneuvers here. Because, my spotlight is caught on something. Darby, just watch your branches your side. Sorry, I can't see. Sneaky buffalo thorn here. Whee! I'm just getting out. We've got the photographic crew with us now, so we might try and help them out with a bit of backlighting. We'll see. He's probably going to pop out. He's just walking parallel with the road right now. It's very, very thick. So let's see if we can see where he is. Oh, here he is. Sneaky cat. There we go. So I'm gonna spotlight him right now. As you can see, the reason why is I'm backlighting him for the photographic crew, who will probably be appreciating this. I don't know if they want me to put it down now, so I'm going to just turn it off. They might want to get some shots of him walking towards him as well. Isn't that beautiful, though? He's not hunting, so it's perfectly fine to put the spotlight on him now. A couple of flashes. As well, don't worry, there's not a big lightning storm. Oh, look at that. So dramatic with the dust kicking up under his feet. That is very pretty. I hope that they are getting some nice shots. Well, here we go. Paparazzi. Well, you know, the leopards, the lions, the most famous animals in the world of the Sabi Sand. How cool is this? Yes, I have to say one thing before the show ends. I don't know how much time we've got, so I'm going to quickly draw away from Hokomori because he's just walking right past their car. We'll have to catch up to him now. I'm so sad because my dear friend Rebecca is leaving. For those of you who know, she's one of the directors. And, well, this is the only nice thing I'm going to say about her because I refuse to say anything else now. So I thought I'd say it live. But I'm going to miss you so much. Bex is leaving us. She's moving to Cape Town. She's going to have a different accent when she goes there. She's going to become very posh. Probably won't be able to be friends anymore. But we'll definitely all miss you lots. It's just because it's my last shift working with her. I won't be back when she leaves. She leaves on the 6th of May, so you've all got some time to still enjoy her. But it's been amazing. What an incredible adventure. So thank you so much for putting up with all my nonsense, making my game drives infinitely better and funnier. What are you looking for? Tears, Darby? I'm a rock. I show no emotion.
We love you, Bex.
We love you, Bex. And, of course, we love all of you who are watching the show that make it just as great, too. So keep sending in those questions whenever you can. Keep an eye out on the dam cam because you never know. Hokomori may come creeping past and stir the Impala. Or will the Nkuhuma lions catch a lone buffalo bull that's maybe lingering on Inyala Road South? We'll never know until tomorrow, where, of course, we'll be doing the safaris. Same place, same time. For those of you who are going to bed, good night. For those of you who are just waking up, good morning. We'll see you tomorrow.